I'm gonna do Bill question because it's 7:12. I'll try to get it sometime a little bit. All right, let's do it this way. All right, I'm gonna try to do it do it this way a little bit. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
All right, so we don't have a mic. The time is now 7:13 p.m. and I am calling this meeting to order. My name is Roderick Daly. I am the chair of Community Board 17, representing a large part of the middle part of Brooklyn. And so I'm very excited to be here, celebrating Women's History Month, celebrating all of the women out there who have made a significant impact in our lives. And you don't have to be on Wikipedia to know the power that women have done, in our history, creating all of those people who have themselves made some history. So before I say anything else, want to make sure I give credit to 3 women in my life that are of important. One of them is no longer with us, which is my grandmother. I want to show homage also to my mother, Zona Llewellyn, and also to my wife, Garcia Daly, who all 3 of these women have helped to mold me, make me. And so I'm going to open the proceeding with Happy Women's History Month to all of our dynamic women out there. So God bless. With that being said, the chairperson's report. Okay, our social services chair has stepped down. She has other conflicts, and so I am looking for someone to step up into the role of social services chair. They meet every 4th Monday of the month. So any committee member who would love to participate on the executive body, and I will say that as the chair, that will be your committee assignment. And so, but you have you have one additional meeting a month besides that one, which is the executive board, which is the first Monday of every month. Unless it's a holiday, then it's the second Monday. Our communications chair, there are a number of people who I don't want as a chair. I can appoint members to the communications committee. However, I don't want to do that because then there is a thing where if you got appointed, to the committee, you might say that I don't want, I didn't ask to be here. So I'm asking, we have a lot of things that need to get done. We have things that need to be uploaded, the link, the messages, the website update, the communications. The last person that was part of that communication piece, we tried to reach out to her numerous times in the last 8 or 9 months with limited success, and nothing is updated. So we also need a few community board members to step up and participate in the communications team. I have a meeting with the borough president next week, Tuesday, I believe. And he actually surprised me by coming sitting in the front row, and I didn't expect to see him. So I was kind of excited. I haven't seen him in a while. But we do have a meeting next week, Tuesday, the 21st. We're all community board chairs. And so with that, I am asking all community board members or community members to reach out to me with any issues that you want me to bring up that might be related to you citywide, Brooklyn-wide. or within the community board that you'd like for me to speak to the borough president about. There are a few things else, and I know that I'm going I also want to thank Asha, First Vice Chair Cunningham, for a stupendous job last month in my absence. My son was at baseball and in Florida, and congratulations to him. He was named to the all tournament team. So he was the only one from Brooklyn. So kudos, King, right? So he was very excited about that. So, he loves you guys, and he loves your support with baseball. I know Chair Prasad is looking at me like, why are you saying that? But I'm so proud of King Grayson and all the work that he does. On a personal level, all parents, please note that you should have gotten all high schools responses. So please make sure that you're looking out for them. The middle school responses should have also come out. So please do look for that. If not, please make sure that you're speaking to your principal, your grandkids, your different people that are involved in your families. I want to take now a little point of personal privilege, and I can't wait for our officers. Our EXO will be coming out tonight, and I guess I'm going to bring it back up. We have a number of violent issues happening within our community. Within the last 4 days, I've gotten several emails, and today I got a phone call. I got a couple phone calls too, but I got an email. 4 people shot, 1 died on Snyder Avenue. On Linden Boulevard, Monday, 1 person stabbed and killed. Today, I got a phone call that one of my former students, right at Remsen and Avenue A, was shot.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know
No, there's nothing there.
his condition as of this moment. Right, when I left because I had to come here, so that's what made me a little bit late by the time to go home and change and everything else. The reason why I'm bringing this up is we have to start loving ourselves. We have to start loving our community, and we have to be cognizant of our surroundings and where we are. And I love East Flatbush Rugby and the community which I represent. I've been in this community for over 40 years, and I'm so tired. And that's why I said the point of personal privilege. I am so tired of seeing these things happening. And so I'm asking us to speak to our young people around us. Speak to them, because unfortunately, and some people may disagree with me, bad behavior is sensationalized and portrayed in the media, and good behavior is not as much. And we have to start taking care of the community that we love. So that's my personal point. And, looking forward to hearing and working with the community with the violence that is happening, and it's very negative. And we're also losing after-school programs for our young people also in our schools. That's just not enough money. I just lost one at the beginning of this month, right? So maybe the borough president can find $30,000 to give me, hint, to get the after-school program back to one of my schools. Our district manager is not here today. That ends my report. Sorry. Are there any questions arising from my report? Assistant district manager, you're here. Can I have those things, please? Is that mine, the envelope? So in honor of Women's History Month, I want to take this opportunity And since our bar president is here, I would like for him to join me right there to recognize the woman on my executive board who, by choice, by force, or by everybody else stepping back, decide to step forward and become leaders in Community Board 17. So for Black History Month, you want to call the names, or you want to call in the names? Yeah, I know the names better than you. All right. So in case anybody have not seen him in person, this is our bar president, Antonio Reynoso. He will be addressing us in a little bit. So I just want more people to come. I just want to, all right. So she's not here. I know she had an emergency. Chair James, she's not here, right? Okay.
I don't know if anyone is still here.
So when I call your name, please come up.
You should have it in your book. I think it's 12:15.
Secretary Thomas,
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
What age we started to start up?
Sorry?
What age we started to Albert?
yes, it's a surprise. I didn't tell anybody. Leave me alone.
Just playing with me.
Once in a while, I'm good for something.
That's why I didn't respond, you know.
Chair Antwine. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Makes the day goes by.
Chair Ferguson, Dr. Ferguson,
You gotta request that stuff.
is she here? I don't see her.
We usually do. We did actually.
Oh, did
Yeah, it's a
somebody
part of when we
mute
request
the,
the room, and it's usually in there.
Somebody who's in charge of the
Usually 3 cordless
Can you mute
mics and 2 stands.
the back for me, please?
Nothing.
Chair
All
Renault,
we have
she's
is the
not
mic
here
on the
yet.
podium at the moment. How you doing, Danny?
Chair Welch,
Yeah. Reynoso's in there. She said so. He's been
somebody,
speaking to me.
I know, bar president.
You know, one more option. Check out the front desk for the library.
Chair Prasad,
All right.
I have a letter from a council member
Okay.
opposing the Kings Highway project.
Okay.
okay,
Is there any way during the legislative session, it'd be like
Secretary
to talk
Thomas,
about-
do you know how to,
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll make sure you, just sign up, Mr. Galbraith. I do need to speak to you, Mr. Galbraith, or Pastor,
All right, thank you. So I know 'cause they-
about some available dates, if you don't mind. Huh?
I know they normally-
that where's, but is
Yeah.
the mute button here?
during the legislative
All right. I'll try to
He's
get
the
you in.
host? Okay. Dr. Galbraith, you're right on time. Please come, just don't even bother to take off your coat. Just walk to the front. Chair Graham is not here. She is? Where is she? Yeah, no, Graham. Don't take off your coat. Just walk up. Yeah, just walk right up. Chair Grandison? And Chair Fields is not here. All right, so, no, he's the chair of hospitality. He do. The bar president has, all right, so as individuals come in, I will call them out and bring them up. Secretary Thomas? Our new assistant district manager, I believe you're giving the report for the district manager today? No, you're not. You're not. Okay, well, we're gonna skip that. Are there any, I did ask, right? Are there any questions arising from my report? I didn't ask? I did. So there's none. All right, moving on. Our committee reports. Now, again, so let me go back around with a couple of ground rules for everyone to understand. One of the major complaints and one of the major things that I said under my leadership is that we're going to try to lessen the time of every meeting. One of the ways to do that is to remember Robert's rules. All conversations must be addressed to the chair, not to each other, and you get one turn to speak, and you have 2 minutes, right? That includes those individuals who are representing an elected official. The elected official will have a little bit more of a leeway. You're not allowed to go beyond that. And I don't want the embarrassing thing of asking you to please have a seat. So you have 2 minutes to speak, and then you have to wait until everybody else who wants to speak before you can respond. It's not a debate. Okay, so Mr. Chair Daly says this, you don't agree, so you're gonna argue with Chair Daly. Absolutely not. 2 minutes. Any questions? All right, I don't want Secretary Thomas to come tell me that I myself need to obey my time. Yes.
So if someone has a question for an elected official representative, are we not supposed to answer that question?
No, I didn't say that. What I said was not back and forth. You have to wait for everybody else to speak. So if nobody else has any question, but I mean, we also have to be think about ourselves. If we chat too much, step back. If we chat too little, step up. All right? Make sense? So don't sit there and ask 10 questions. That's the point. All right. Hospitality. The things given out for Women's History Month was also part with our hospitality chair, Dr. Charles Galbraith, who's on my left over there. Wave your hand. All right. Do you have anything you want to add? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Budget Committee. Chair, do you have any comments on? No.
Good evening, everyone. My name is June Prasad. I'm the chair of the Commerce Committee. I would just like to extend an invitation to everyone. The Commerce Committee will host a business networking breakfast at Woody's Bar and Restaurant, 113335 Clarkson Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, 11212, on Tuesday, April 4th at 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The guest speakers will be NYPD, Buildings Department, Health Department, I don't even know, I can't read my own stuff, Small Business Solution. There are flyers in the back. The Commerce Committee meet on the third Tuesdays of every month at 7:30. It's a virtual meeting. If you would like to join the Commerce Committee, you could see me in the back, or there's applications in the back. That ends my report. Thank you, sir.
Again, that's April 4th. Please come out and support community, businesses alike. Education and youth. Oh, that just reminds me, if you know you do have a report, after that is housing, land use. Please form that line.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gail Grandison, and I'm the chair of the Education and Youth Committee. Very quickly, our meeting was last Wednesday. Our guest was Principal Grant of PS 235. We had a really great conversation with her around the programs in the school, budgetary issues, and how the school is going to be moving forward for the fiscal year 24. The committee we have 3 upcoming events, the Spelling Bee, Cops and Kids, and Youth Happening. Now, for Youth Happening, if you have a summer program in the community, you're welcome, especially if it's relatively new. Please reach out to the board so we can give you the information, how you can attend with your summer programs. If you don't have a summer program, it is an academic year program, and you want to table at the event, also reach out to the board, and we will give you information on how to get that done. I also want to give a really big shout out to the community
spectacular this year. Thank you.
Chair Craig, Daniels.
Something's going on with the audio. Yeah. Gotta unmute. Try to unmute the second calls. It's not on mute.
Good evening, everyone. On March 2nd, the land use committee meeting held this monthly meeting, which focused specifically on the above application that we presented today. Special permit is being requested for 5381 Kings Highway. This is the second time we met with the group. The initial introduction took place in December. During that first introduction, we had several questions that were raised. The applicant and the team responded with various letters, documents, answering said questions.
Hello, the audio is out. The audio is out on Zoom. Sorry, WebEx.
How about now, try it.
Better?
I did,
Hit the mute.
I did.
Can you guys hear me online? Good. This meeting, today we were supposed to have a meeting with the team at McKissick and McKissick and DDC in regards to the Shirley Chisholm Center and getting the workforce and community outreach information out there in regards to people who would be interested in working on the said project and contractors that would be interested in getting a piece of the 30% minimum that'll be coming forward. Unfortunately, that meeting was canceled, scheduled for next week, the 21st at 1 o'clock. I'm going to say again, it's an important and excellent opportunity for any of the youth or any of some of our residents to have a direct, we're going to use the correct term, to be involved in this project at every single aspect, right? We're being tasked, or I'm being tasked by Mr. Daly to make sure that we know the opportunity that's coming before us. It's probably once in a lifetime. We've seen it happen with the Barclay Center. That was once in a lifetime. And this is our opportunity in East Flatbush and Ditmas to take advantage of a once in a lifetime opportunity. This should be available to anybody's nephews, kids, whomever will be interested in joining this workforce opportunity. And that ends my report. Questions?
Are there any questions arising from the report? One thing that we want to make sure that you understand very clearly, he's more political than I am. There's $40 million that's set aside for MWBEs within our community. $40 million. So he's just being more politically correct than me. All right, the Barclays Center, we lost out on, a lot of us. And then please, we're looking at hiring union. They're looking at, I'm not looking at it. I wish it was my contract. They're looking at hiring union workers if you have a business, or non-union, right? But I'm obviously, it goes in order, right? It goes in order. It's not, right? So it's not an equal footing, but there's still an opportunity for that. Just pause. Dr. Galber, step forward. All right, Parks and Beautification. Chair Antoine.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to those who came to our meeting on March 7. We had a presentation on plant poisoning. Plants are beautiful. However, you need to know some of them can, have some issues. All the attendees will receive their certificate. I'm waiting for the Department of Health to send me the certificate. So just be patient. Thanks also to those who submitted their input for all the issues in the parks at CB17. I will ask any elected officials or anybody here who want to contribute to have our parks, being more beautiful than they are. Please reach out to me and let me know how you can assist, because we can do better in CB17, correct? So if you are here and if you have a project that you want CB17 to work with you to have the park being better than the way that they are now, please reach out. And also, we had a representative from New York City for Parks who also presented on March 7. We are working to have a project for the beautification of Tilden Park. For a spring beautification of Tilden Park, so we can do little thing. And also we have this little corner, the green space on Church Avenue and Raff Avenue. We are also working to see how we can improve this little corner. Our next meeting is on April 4th, where we will be talking about a Family Day event that we want to have for summer 2023. So come to our meeting and discuss what you want to see for our Family Day event. And there is a save the date for October 21st, 2023, we will be having a breast cancer walk in the park. So if you are a breast cancer survivor or an organization providing services to a survivor of breast cancer, reach out to us. October is not that far, so we need to start working with you. Remember, our meeting is on April 4th, and I really want you to be there on WebEx. Thank you. Oh. Is there any question for me? Anyway, I will be sitting in the back if you need to reach out, and have the email for the Parks and Beautification Committee. Thank you.
Also, if you're representing an agency, please make sure you have signed in the back. If you're representing an agency, please make sure that you have signed in the back. Also online, if you're representing an agency and or an elected official, please put your names in the chat so that Chair Frey will be able to answer to inform me who's here and who's not. All right, we have, hold on, wait, Parks and Beautification, Public Safety. Well, since you're already there, Chair James, come on up. Public Safety, do you have any report? No, don't answer. Just tell me yes or no. No, just say yes or no. Yes. Okay. So, because I just have Mr. Hassan give you the mic in a minute. Sanitation, Dr. Renault's not here yet. Social services, vacant. Yeah. So can we hold off on that for a minute? And it's fine, but can you hold off? Transportation is not here yet. Personnel, do you have a report? Personnel, do you have a report? Personnel chair, do you have a report? Ms. Graham. Yes, you got caught with a cookie jar. Do you have a report? No, I'm asking you. So if you could join the line right there, if you do. Chair Reed is not here. Communications, do you have a report? Actually, yes, you do. Today you do. Yes, because you need help. So you have a report. Dale Cab is not here. and rezoning is coming up.
Good evening, Jail James, Chair of the Bylaws Committee. In the interest of time, we've incorporated a proposed amendment to the bylaws, and we sent it up by email to give you 30 days' notice to review it. It's a proposed amendment to change membership in committees to be in line and conformity with exactly the same language used by the Borough President's Office as to who qualifies to be a member of a committee in this district. So everybody should have received it. It will be discussed and voted upon at the next board meeting. I'm also the chair of the rezoning committee, and as you know, this has been a burning issue. We did receive a response from DCP to a letter which was sent out in July 2020. And very briefly, I'll just identify some points raised by them. The letter comes from the Brooklyn director. He says, "Thank you for your letter dated February 13, 2023, restating your request for contextual downzoning of Brooklyn Community District 17. The Department of City Planning has been working with members of the community board since 2007. I'm very happy he made a note in his letter of the date the process commenced, because the question we need to ask is that if it dates back to 2007, why is it that other community boards who subsequently applied for contextual rezoning were granted contextual rezoning and Community Board 17 was not?" He identified the various contacts that have taken place over the years. And then he ends that by saying, "We would like to take this." First of all, he says, "This letter will be available, but I want it to be read into the minutes. That's why I'm doing this. DCP has carefully listened to our concerns, offered to work with us to respond to the issues raised." He says that while CB 17's land use committee proposal from February 22 included a detailed set of zoning and land use recommendations, it was principally focused on specific zoning solutions to limit new development. That has been true, that is true of every other community board. They undertook to take steps to limit development. If you drive down Glenwood Road, if you drive down Farragut Road, you can see the demarcation between Community Board 17 and the other district where pristine, no development, 1-2 family homes, untouched, and we know what's happening to our community. He then goes on to say, "We'd like to take this opportunity to reiterate our interest in working with CB 17 to develop a community-based plan that, in light of rising housing costs and population growth, balances the preservation of 1-2 family homes with the identification of opportunities for the creation and preservation of income-restricted housing." I've always made it clear to DCP, we recognize there is a housing crisis, okay? We're willing to work with them. In areas where our community has been destroyed, it does not make sense trying to save it. We will consider upzoning there. But at the same time, too, we are committed to preserving our small businesses and also preserving our 1-2 family homes, just the way that other affluent and other neighborhoods which are whiter than us were able to protect and preserve their housing.
All right, we had a nice movies. We had the movies here, so is there something going on with the lights? Okay. Well, I guess we'll just continue for a little bit. Ms. Welch, Chair Welch, go ahead.
Hello. Oh, good evening, everyone.
Louder, Ms. Welch.
Good evening, everyone. I'm the Chair of Public Safety. What I'm going to tell you is this last month, we did not get any visits from the Community Affairs Office. Again, Mr. Daly. We are expecting him this month on the 22nd when we have our meeting. And we haven't been able to get quorum because a lot of our members come sporadically. And I would like anyone that wants to be on the Public Safety Committee to please come join us on the 22nd, because we need to know who is on our committee and who is interested in our community safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for wait, before I do that, is there any committee that did not get an opportunity to speak? Yes. Housing. Chair Fields?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm just going to be real quick. We had our housing meeting on the 9th. and-
I'm sorry, you don't have the same excuse as Ms. Welch.
Oh,
Please come to the front. If everybody else had to walk to the front, so do you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Perlene Fields of the Housing Committee. I'm the chair of the Housing Committee, and I'll be real quick. We had our housing meeting on the 9th, where we had Monodoc Development come and speak about affordable housing that's going to be on Utica and Crescent. And we advise you to keep track of what's going on there. And they're going to be letting our office know when it comes time to apply, because applying to these particular housing, you can't go through Housing Connect. So Ms. Frazier will be getting the information. If you decide that you're interested, it's going to be senior housing, affordable housing. So keep track of that. And I just want to let everyone know to save the date, because we're going to be doing a joint housing fair with CB9 at Patterdale Park on Sunday, June 18th. We're still hoping that CB14 will join us as well, because strength in numbers, right? Yay. But just keep note of that particular date so that you can come out. We're planning a nice little day for you. So I look forward to seeing you there from 12 to 5 p.m. Thank you. Bye.
Secretary Thomas?
Hello, all. I'm Tamara Thomas. I also double as the communications chair. Nice to meet you all. I'm going to literally make this, I'm going to actually make this quick. I'm actually going to make this quick. So my plea is to members of the community and members of the board, because I need help. I am literally a committee of one. There are a lot of initiatives that are starved for attention, like social media, newsletters, constant communication with the larger community. And these are all things that I cannot do by myself. So I am pleading with people to please join me. I will help bring you up to speed and make you proficient so that you'll be good helpers. But I do need extra hands, because as Chiel Grandison said once upon a time, many hands make light work. So in order for the communications to reach the broader community as it is needed to do, I need help. So anybody, please reach out. Please contact the district manager's office, who will put you in contact with me. Once again, I am Tamara Thomas, communications chair. Thank you.
Those of you who got the opportunity to look at the website, she is the person responsible for that. So please, and while you're up here, I'm not going to bring up the bar president again unless you want to come up. Let's, the Chair Graham, in recognition of Women's History Month, real fast, we would like to recognize you as Dr. Goldberg. Where did you go? All right, so come on up. Let's just do this real quick. Sorry. Nice one.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rose Graham. I'm the chair of the Personnel Committee, and it's a very brief report. We recently had a meeting of the office staff in collaboration with the union. And we still have some kinks to work out, but it's a work in progress. And as we all know, our ADM is on board. And that is the end of my report, and we will keep you posted as information is available. Thank you. It was a mid-year evaluation of the office staff. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Okay, so this is a fantabulous committee that we have that we're working on. At this point, we're gonna move, Chair Antoine, can I get a list of the agencies? I did see Brooklyn Public Library. I did see them, so you could step forward. Brooklyn Public Library. Any other agency, please, if you signed in, please let me see any agency.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'll just keep this nice and brief. My name is Donette Riker. I'm here with my lovely colleague, Ms. Yolande, and we just wanted to share with you some updates from the library. There is a teen writing contest that's taking place right now. Submissions are being accepted all of this month. New York City writers in grades 6 to 12 are invited to submit poetry and prose to BPL's teen writing contest. And there are cash prizes. A total of $3,000 will be awarded in prizes. And divided, it'll be $500 for the first place. And also, teens can grab a writing kit in their local library at different locations throughout the borough. And the kit includes a notebook, pen, a pen, notebook, and a zine that's full of writing prompts. And this is as supplies last. Also, there is a virtual link which I could share to in an email later so everyone can receive it. Also, many of you guys probably know already that this year is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So BPL is joining along with our fellow city library systems and over 30 cultural institutions to celebrate the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And more announcements will follow this spring, but we're planning a year-long program series across Brooklyn and NYC to celebrate the anniversary. Finally, is that there are senior debates that's happening with Brooklyn Public Library. Older adults that are looking to flex their debating skills should join this team. It's a hybrid program with the first sessions occurring on Zoom and then with in-person options. All of this is going to lead up to a senior debate tournament at Brooklyn Public Library Central location by Grand Army Plaza. And the program will run for 3 months on Tuesdays from 2 to 4. And all the participants receive a copy of the book, On the Other Hand, written by the founder of the Association for Senior Debate. And all this information, again, I could share via email to the district manager, and that is all I have. Yeah, thank you.
I know I've been promising, but I'm coming this month, okay, to the library. I'm coming to the one in Utica. So I'll let you know when we're coming. I think the district manager and I are supposed to be making a rounds to the library, okay? All right. Are there any other agencies before I bring up the borough president? Are there any other agencies before I bring up the borough president? Is that, Ms. Martinez, you coming up? No? Okay. So please, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring up the borough president of Brooklyn, Mr. Antonio Reynoso. Antonio Reynoso.
Thank you, Chair Daly. So my name is Antonio Reynoso, and I am the president of the greatest borough in the city of New York, which is Brooklyn. So I'm very happy to be here with you all. I'm very happy to be here. We just had a recent conversation with your chair, a quick conversation, one about making sure I show up and say hi, We're making our rounds through all the community boards now, just to give you a heads up about what we were dealing with initially when we came into Borough Hall, is because the mayor of the city of New York used to be the borough president. His staff got the wonderful news that most of them would be moving with him to Manhattan. And with that, left us with about 19 staff members out of 75. So we've spent the last year staffing up with a small HR crew that is also responsible for staffing up community boards and handling community board issues. So you can only imagine what it looks like to hire 50 people in less than 5 months, onboarding them, teaching them, explaining to them how we work. We just got our community affairs director, was just appointed last month, which means you're starting to see a lot more of us in the streets. So just what I beg the chair daily is just a bit of patience with our office as we continue to develop. But in that time, we got a lot done. It was a small team, but we got a lot done, a lot accomplished. And in that, we got some rewriting of our rules for community boards. We really want to start changing how community boards are not only perceived in the community, but by our agencies. So we're having a good conversation with our chairs and our district managers, because ultimately there's a charter mandated responsibility that exists by the city of New York for agencies to respond to community boards for any and all requests. And that's extremely important. It means that if you ask a question related to something in the Department of Transportation, the Department of Transportation should respond to you in a timely manner. And that doesn't happen right now. So we're going to be using the weight of the borough president's office to really implore these agencies to do what is charter mandated for them to do, or they're going to be hearing from us. So we're excited about that work that we're doing. We're also giving a lot more autonomy to community boards. So we're kind of taking a step back and really allowing for the chairs and the board and the executive board and community boards to kind of dictate the outcomes as they see fit. And we're here more for technical services and are going to move away from inserting ourselves in the local politics and the local community back and forth and so forth. Like, this is your community board. This is your community. I want to hear from you, and I want to be able to support you from what you give me versus imposing our influence from the borough president's office onto the community board. It's been well received. There are some new members on the community board appointed by the borough president, if you haven't noticed. We're also looking at to encourage people that really want to be here. So we're having, if you are not showing up for more than 50% of the meetings, you will probably no longer be a community board member unless you have a good excuse. We're really going to start kicking folks out and putting new people in. We're looking to get much younger, 17, 16-year-olds. We talked about communications with social media and so forth. Maybe some kids could take that on, and I could see you guys on TikTok every day. That would be fun. The point there being is we want people that want to be here. Many times folks that get positions in community boards want them because of the title they hold and the influence they hold by putting community board member or chair or executive board member next to a resume or when they walk into a room. Those are not the type of people we're looking for. So we want to make sure people know that just because you got appointed in the past doesn't mean you'll stay here, especially if you're not showing up. We want more participation in committees as well. If we see a lack of participation in committees or members that just show up to the general meeting and nothing else, making it more difficult to do the business of the community board, it is also something that we're going to hold folks accountable to. We're working alongside the chair and district managers to iron all these things out, but it's just because we really want to feel invigorated, reinvigorated in these community boards. So you'll continue to see new members come in. Folks that can't show up or don't show up will no longer be on board. So we're really excited about that progress. Rezoning. I heard one of the chairs of the ad hoc committee for rezoning was talking about the relationship that they have with DCP or the Department of City Planning, that they've been working on this for over 6 years, 7 years now, the lack of progress that has been made by DCP. I want to be very clear, the Department of City Planning should have been called the Department of City Zoning because they don't do any planning. They just zone. And it's a big problem because what ends up happening is when you just zone, you don't take into account the totality of a neighborhood and even the totality of a borough. Whatever happens in a rezoning here in this Community Board 17 is going to affect the entire community board, but the entire borough. And we have to be mindful of that. So we're putting forward a comprehensive plan in our office that should be coming out in a couple of months. It's going to outline recommendations that we make to all community boards related to development, and how we think it should be moving forward. You will have input in that plan when it comes out. The plan is not going to outright say, hey, we should just rezone everything and it should go up here, it should go down there. It's going to be more of a guideline and principle document that you will all have with you, and it's going to guide Borough Hall. So when projects come to us, if they fall within the principles that we set forth, we will be supporting those projects. So we just want you guys to know where we're coming from. We will not be rezoning and working alongside developers independent of those principles. As you all know, I ran for this office and didn't take $1 from real estate. So I have no interest in pushing their agenda. My interest is in making sure I look out for the greater good of Brooklyn. So these principles are going to be a policy. So you'll know what I would do with a project long before it even gets to me, because the principles will be so clearly outlined. But I do want to say there is a housing crisis and everyone has to do their part. And I would fail in my position if I didn't tell you that we're looking at all these neighborhoods, including this one, to build some affordable housing, to build some housing. Now, I understand that there's some parts of this district that are beloved, that folks are looking to zone contextually. And I would say this, when DCP comes, when we come, just tell us where you don't want folks to touch and tell us where you do want folks to touch. But you cannot be exempt from development. That will not happen. There has to be a conversation. But you should dictate those outcomes. No one should come into this community and tell you where you should be building. This community should dictate that. But you have to dictate it. You can't run away from it. So if there's a street or two that makes sense, where we can go from 3 stories to 6 stories, propose it. There's a street that doesn't make sense to go from 3 stories to 6 stories, keep it down. So just the point being here is, you got to be in the mix. You dictate what you want the future of this community to look like, but it cannot be staying the same. Somebody mentioned the fact that white, more affluent communities get downzonings and so forth. In my principles report recommendation, I want to open all that back up. Many of these neighborhoods specifically did those downzonings to keep people like from this community out. They did it specifically to preserve their character, what they call their character, but it's mostly they wanted to keep poor people or any folks that were looking for opportunities in. So now their houses are worth $4, $5, $6 million. It's unattainable opportunities for people like me, and I imagine most of the people in this room. I want to look at those rezonings. Some of them don't have any architectural significance. It's all political affluence that allowed them to do that. So I want to be clear. If I'm looking and speaking here publicly and letting you know that I want to look at every single landmarking and whether or not it was appropriate at the time that it was done, it's because specifically I want to make sure that everyone contributes to the greater good of development in Brooklyn, not just poor Black and brown neighborhoods. Then I think so you go through your process, we'll be supportive. I'll be meeting with your chair very soon. And I know I'm past the 2 minutes, so I'll stop here. I'm going to be meeting with your chair very soon. Chair Daley and I are going to have a conversation. Please go to him with things that you think the borough president's office can be supportive of, because that's what we want to hear. You're going to have an event this summer. We would love to be partners and see if we could support. Community Affairs is not showing up to a committee meeting. Let us know. We can call the chiefs and make sure that happens. Like whatever it is that you guys might need, give it to the chair. Your chair is a rabid dog when it comes to this community. He calls me and he specifically tells me what he thinks and how I should be moving and what he wants. He has my ear and he has my respect. So just know that when we talk and he brings me issues, I'm not going to be taking them lightly. I'm going to be taking them very seriously. So please, committees, whoever it is, report to him so we could communicate. And I'll leave you with what I always leave folks with, which is a quote from one of the greatest poets to ever hit this great land of Brooklyn, especially on the 50th anniversary of hip hop, the Notorious B.I.G., who said, "Don't forget to spread love. It's the Brooklyn way." Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so wait. Because I know, first and foremost, I'm going to go to the committee chairs first, committee board members second, and then community third. However, please keep your comments and your questions brief. He has to go. It's very short notice. As a matter of fact, I think I sent a text message yesterday to get him today. So, all right, so please be cognizant of his time. All right. All right. Chair James.
Thank you. Thank you. CB 17 has been trying to go through the process of rezoning for the past 16 years. I just wanted to clarify, 1-6. And we were the second of all the community boards to start the process, and we've been the only one who's been denied the process. And I just want to mention, as a matter of fact, we are the largest Black-owned home ownership community in district, a Black immigrant community. All the other districts are not as predominantly Black and immigrant as we are. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I guess that was just a statement, not a comment, right? Chair Prasad, then a member Viante. Chair Prasad. Can I get a second mic? Asha, do me a favor. Can you just on one side for me? So I'm trying to move it faster.
Mr. Bar President.
Louder,
Mr.
Chair
Bar
Prasad.
President, what do you consider as affordable housing? Because that can have a lot of different explanation. Thank you.
So affordable housing is what I would like to do is we want to get the area median income of the neighborhood and see if we could do it according to that. So if in this neighborhood, the average median income is $50,000 a year, we should be looking to build housing for the folks that make about $50,000 a year on average. But I want to be very mindful that the housing that we should be building should, what happens with affordable housing projects, some of them are extremely affordable and extremely expensive. And there's almost no middle ground. And it's given us a very difficult to establish economic mobility for the middle class. So you have kids that come from college or folks that got good jobs. Maybe they're plumbers, maybe they're doing some electrician work. Teachers, cops, they can't live in these affordable housing units because they make too much money. So I like to have a very diverse set of affordable housing from, deeply affordable, middle class, and then the market rate that would be necessary, that the developer might deem necessary to make the project work. But it's a scale, and it depends, I think, on the community.
Member Viante.
Hi, hello, good evening, over here. Hi, I'm wondering, you said that none of the communities are exempt from building. But considering this community has been so overbuilt and we haven't had any of our needs addressed, are you going to give us a little slack?
No one gets slack. So the thing here is just think about what your community has gone through over the last 16 years. Over the last 16 years, the development that has happened in your community has been dictated almost exclusively by the developers, the property owners. That's what happens when you don't pursue a rezoning that speaks to the future. So this DCP, and I'm being as honest as I can with you. The Department of City Planning wants to do as much development as possible. That is their job. Their mission is to build as much as possible, to rise these buildings as high as possible. That is their job. If a community board is submitting a letter or a request for rezoning that speaks to downzoning or contextual rezoning, they will ignore you, which is what they've done for the last 16 years. And in those 16 years, the people that are dictating the outcomes are developers, not community members. So this conversation about exemption is a difficult one to have because it's not going to happen. Politically, it will never happen. The time of these downzonings that happened under Bloomberg will no longer happen. So you will not be exempt. And I'm being honest with you. And this is what you guys need is transparency and honesty. The transparency is you will never get DCP here, no matter what, unless they see that there's opportunities for development. So the idea here is to choose where you want to see that. Stop it from happening where you don't want it to happen, but think about our areas of opportunities for growth. That's my suggestion. If you don't do that, you're going to spend another 16 years allowing for developers to dictate the outcomes of this community. And that is unacceptable. I think it's unacceptable.
Can I just add to that?
Remember the rule.
Yeah, I just want to say, we do have a plan, and it's been proposed.
I'm excited, yes. The chair will be presenting me with the proposal set forth by CB 17. I will be looking at it, and I will be making comments to the community board, so you'll hear what I think about the plan and how I think we can move forward. But no community in this entire borough will be exempt. None will be exempt.
So, Osney Lewis, board member, so in the committee and in the development, for me personally, I don't see anybody that looks like me on those jobs.
On those what?
On those jobs, on those developments, whatever, so I think that there's a disconnect between those who may be qualified in the community to man these jobs, where we're talking about contractors and so forth, because our people will hire our people. Outsiders, because they don't have a relationship with us, they don't see us. So I think there has to be a little more force, not your requests, but force, because again, our people do not benefit from anything that happens in our community for a very long time. So, we need that support system in which the developers must come to a specific neighborhood and they must meet with the key players, and not in a joking or just to pacify us, but they must meet with us and make sure that we have what we need in order to build up this community. Because people come in, they take it and they go.
Yeah,
they don't live here, they don't look like us. They live in Long Island, they live upstate, they live in Jersey, they live in Staten Island. And we are the folks that are left with whatever is left behind. So I think that is one of the key things. Business owners, as well as the people that will be working for the business owners.
Yeah. So that's a good comment. So what he's talking about is jobs and opportunities for contractors. We have electricians and plumbers and masonries that could do half of the work of these buildings, no problem, but they don't get hired. The city of New York has a goal to hire a certain number of MWBEs always, but I want to be very clear. It has no teeth, but it is a suggestion. It is not exactly. So be very careful when any developer comes into this building and talks to you and tells you that they're going to hire 20% of the people locally. They have no legal obligation to do that. Even a community benefits agreement can be broken by the developer. So be very careful. There is almost no contract outside of a deed restriction that would mandate a developer to do what he commits to. That includes other things, not just that. So be very careful. CBA agreements, unless they're binding through the deed, are very difficult things to enforce. I've had people in Bushwick, where I used to represent when I was a council member, that said they were going to give us 35% affordable housing, and only gave us 20. Like and they're still building in this city. So I just want you to be mindful that the only way to fix that is to have some way to get it binding. The city council has worked tirelessly for like the last 10 years to try to find a binding mechanism. But until you don't hear that should be the word you always use. Is it binding? By law, is this developer obligated to give 20% of the contracts to a minority MWBE or to a local business? And if they can't say yes, which they shouldn't, then you should be very weary of those developers working through you. Now, I want to be clear, a rezoning doesn't do any of that. In a rezoning, a community doesn't get to negotiate community benefits agreement with developers. They'll be negotiating community benefits agreements with the city, right? So that's about building schools, fixing roads, new libraries. That's what you're going to be talking about with the mayor's office and your council member. You're not going to be talking about jobs, because the zoning happens and the developers don't need to come to you anymore. They go straight. You guys committed in this block, you could go 6 stories. If they got the property, they can build without coming here. It's going to be as of right. So what you're negotiating are a benefits agreement with the city. Now, those you can hold to account, and they do follow through on those. So remember, the city is easier to get binding agreements to, and is who you would be negotiating with, not the developers if you do a rezoning.
All right, so I guess I come to
Yes, sir.
2 questions.
but I'm going to make them within 30 seconds, right? One, I alluded to the question about the funding before for school that had lost the after-school program. I don't know if your
Yes.
office is given that. That's one. Don't answer that yet. The other one has to do with our community board and then members' failure to attend, having difficulty making quorum. How can the board, I know about the bylaws, but how can we look to make things easier to meet quorum, like maybe even having the community board itself has a say in who can be on the board based upon their participation on committee levels and those other things. So those are my two questions.
So a couple of things there. So the after-school programming, we should have a discussion about that, because the one thing we want is like sustainability. And if you get funding from our office for 1 year of after-school programming, it doesn't guarantee the next year and the year after that. It would have to be a yearly thing. And that consistency is important, and we might not be able to commit to it. But when you bring it up in our meeting, I'll be better prepared to tell you how much what we can do. I don't know if we can pay for it. I don't know what we can do, but when we meet, if it's a priority for the community board, just 30,000. I like that. That's how you should be asking for stuff. The second thing is, if the members are not showing up, I'm going to be getting rid of them, and I'm going to be replacing them with people that want to show up. So I think the quorum issue here, at the end of the day, is going to come to the folks that want to be here. But this has to be worth it, right? The problem is that if you come to the community board and you don't feel like you can affect change, you don't feel like it gives you opportunities, then you feel like you might be wasting your time. And you guys are volunteering for this work, which is the hardest thing to do. So we got to make it worth your while. So what I want to do, my office is going to show you the impact you have. It's going to show you, it's going to reward you for the work that you're doing. We're going to be working in partnership. We're going to be talking about this rezoning. We'll talk about after-school programming, the WBE conversations that are more serious than I show outcomes. Like I want to be able to show people in 6 months, we sit down, you get 5 vendors, we get them maybe not jobs or contracts with the developers, but with the city. The city has billions of dollars in contracts. But if I show that, and you report here in 6 months and say, after going through this program that was put together temporarily by the borough president, we got 3 businesses that are getting $1 million contracts with the city of New York. That's what I want to, and then people hear that, people see it, and they're like, oh, I want to be a part of that community board. They're affecting change. But until you don't feel like that's happening and people don't see the results of your work, it's hard to attract people that want to be here. But we got a lot of people that are eager to be a part of something that we want to introduce to. And with the work that we're doing, we're hoping that it activates folks. So be patient with me, Chair. I'm going to infuse this board with some new folks that want to be here, some younger folks as well. I think the kids, these high schools have like councils, like junior councils and people that are eager to do civics. Why not bring like 2 or 3 of them and let them be in here and see you guys and start building the next leaders, the leaders of tomorrow? Like that's the work that we're going to be doing. So get ready for it. Again, Chair Dady and I have a lot to talk about, and those are the things we're going to be talking about.
So one hand online.
AB.
Just, yeah, Miss Bennett, is that an old hand, new hand? Miss Bennett? Going once, going twice.
New hand. Sorry. I had it up for a while. No, I was listening to Mr. Reynoso.
We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Barely.
now?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me better now?
Go ahead, ask a question.
Okay. What I was going to say was listening to Mr. Reynoso and what he was saying in regards to no community boards are exempt. But I drive around one part of Brooklyn to the other, and certain areas seem to be exempt because they got their contextual rezoning, and we were denied it again and again. And yes, I was on that committee at the time for the last 10 years. And we still are denied by DCPI. And my question is, what is DCPI's real interest? And maybe they need to be revamped.
Yeah, they do. So the question was asked, she says no community, that I said no community is exempt, but when she drives around in Brooklyn, she says she feels like communities are exempt, that she sees the exemption. And she thinks the problem here is DCP, which I agree. I've gone to war with DCP for the 8 years I was a council member, and I'm still have huge issues with DCP and the way they work. The reason there's a lack of confidence and trust in the city of New York when they do developments and growth is because the city of New York has targeted what they call opportunity areas. Opportunity areas are what I believe to be, of course, poor Black and brown people that they think don't have any political capital. So they're able to go in there and dictate the outcomes of those neighborhoods. That's where they targeted. Williamsburg, Bushwick, East New York, Brownsville is starting to see some development. They're gonna come here maybe. The point being, when I say no one is exempt, is that that's not running through me. Developers will come in and try to build in Sheepshead Bay. And the community board says no to everything. I don't. I say yes. I encourage them to go higher. I encourage them to build in Sheepshead Bay. Like, that's the point. That when they come to my office, I want them building in those areas. Midwood, Sheepshead Bay, Bay Ridge. Bay Ridge has built 80 units of affordable housing over the last 60 years. That's unacceptable. So when they come to me, I don't care what the community board says or what the council member says. If there's housing to be built in Bay Ridge, the developers are gonna have a good time with me in those areas because I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna impose it. I'm gonna push it. So when I say that no one is exempt, I really mean that. But the thing is, I want to build confidence that it's equitable, that everybody's being asked to do it. And right now it's not. We just had a project in Kalman Yeager's district that was just shut down in the city council. And that's an area that doesn't see any development and that is shut, and the council member made life impossible for that developer and it didn't get built. So we're talking to the mayor's office. We're talking to Rafael Salamanca, who's the chair of land use in the city of council. And we're talking about member deference and not allowing for these mostly white affluent districts to be completely exempt of bearing the burden of getting us out of this housing hole. So that's the new movement that's happening. That's what I'm saying, is that everyone's gonna do their part. But that includes this district as well. But like I'm saying, the goal here is for you to dictate your outcomes. Stop allowing for the zoning that existed in 1964 or 1969 to be how the buildings are going up in your community right now. You could stop it tomorrow, but DCP is not gonna come to the table unless you guys are offering something somewhere else. But you say where that is. You find a block that is 1 story of commercial that can possibly get three stories for, like, figure it out. And then you give it to us and we'll support you through that. I don't know enough just yet, so I might be talking out of turn. I'm gonna be meeting with your chair, meeting with the rezoning committee. Your councilwoman and I are constantly talking about this. She is the most ardent representative in this process. She's at every single meeting, more than any other elected official. She calls me constantly about this issue. It's very important. It's a top priority for her. When we're done, we're gonna see what the outcomes are and what opportunities there exist. But unlike her, I gotta represent the entire borough, and the borough needs housing. So she and I might disagree on how we feel about this project. It doesn't take away from our relationship and how much I care about her well-being. But I have a responsibility to this borough. She has a responsibility to this district. I'm hoping that when we all come together, there's a beautiful plan that makes a lot of sense for everyone. And then we're gonna go to DCP and force their hand, do the best we can to make them do what we're asking. But don't be relegated to these zoning rules of 1960s that don't do you any justice. And you're seeing the fabric of the neighborhood being destroyed. This is just the beginning. You guys are getting to know me, but you're gonna find out very quickly. Like, I mean business, I really do. And I'm not talking about business like hurting you. I mean, like, everyone's gonna do their part. These neighborhoods are gonna be held accountable. What I'm saying, I just wanna say this. It's like political suicide, what I'm saying when it comes to looking at landmarking over again, like revisiting that. That's mostly white affluent people that vote 48,000, 60,000 in communities. And I'm telling them we need to have a conversation. And that is not easy to do. No borough president, no mayor has said something like that. And if we're serious about development and getting us out of the 70,000 people out of shelters, we need to talk to everybody, including these very rich, affluent people. And we're having that serious conversation. So just know I'm putting my neck on the line for this. I might be a one-term borough president, but I'm gonna try to knock it out the park.
Well, the last part of the question was, how would you feel, Mr. Reynoso, about driving with us on that committee?
Wait, Miss Bennett, I apologize.
For you, Rudy, maybe you can get him to come with us, and you also do a drive-through in this community.
Okay, she's asking if you would like to one day. Well, I'll talk to him about that. Thank you. She wants to know about a take a tour. I see your question, but is it okay if I take your name and email, take your question and ask him and get back to you on that, if you don't mind? You want to, I'm just looking at time. Go ahead. Guy, what's the question? Tell us your name first.
How will you extend that? Because I've only seen limited marketing for it. And then the last message that came out was
Is that members for community board?
For the community board as well as the other committees. So will you continue to market that?
So for next year, so this year's application process is shut down now.
Right.
But we got 1,100 applications. So just to let you know, it's one of the highest since I've been there. One of the most requests to join community boards happened this year. So we have applications, we have a ton of people. We will be doing the marketing again next year, the same way. We had them on link kiosks and we were going to schools. We're gonna be doing the same thing to try to encourage people to join.
Wonderful. I'm happy to hear about that number. However, what accountability measures will be put in place for community boards and chairs to make sure that individuals who are on board, and if they have vision, insight, and so forth, to be able to contribute to those boards, what will be put in place to measure how individuals can remain? Because retention seems to be an issue. When I join the meetings regularly, folks are falling off. And oftentimes when folks have ideas, sometimes it doesn't get through.
Yeah.
And it could be because of, capacity or whatever the case is, but I'm wondering what measures would be put in place so that we can keep members excited and wanting to remain vested to the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Give me a shot here. At the end of the day, I want to be clear. The executive committee and the chair run the show. This is their community board and they run the show. What I want to do is support them with resources and opportunities. And I think if they, like the communications team is trying their best. And that is discouraging when you don't have an email to go out to folks in a timely manner, when you're not showing the work that the community board is doing on Instagram or Facebook. Those things matter. The functioning of it, I want to help the community boards with. Also, the community boards have almost no resources. We have a charter mandate to have community boards. And when you talk about, they're like 2-3 staff members for the work of a community board is unbelievably under resourced. So we're working on that too. We're having conversations with the mayor right now to see if we can staff them up, give them more opportunities so that they could be more active and more involved. And then it's volunteers. We got to be very careful about accountability. Like what I'm going to tell the chair who's here working 20 hours a week on a volunteer position to do this work. Like I'm grateful for any work that he's doing. So, and to everybody that's here that's volunteering. So I want to be very careful about thinking that we got to like pull folks out if they're participating. And if they're not, we can have that. But if they're here every day, that's the first step, and I'm proud of that. So I'll leave that. And I'm so sorry I do have to run. I really appreciate you all. This was great. This is not going to be the last time I'm here. I'm really excited to be here today. I just want to, again, give a shout out to Councilwoman Lewis, who's a good friend of mine. You guys are very lucky to have her. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Borough President Antonio Reynoso, for surprising us today at short notice. So we really do appreciate him coming out. I know the council member wants to speak, so I'm gonna community session. I see you, Lieutenant. 1 minute. Was that Captain? It's Captain. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, Captain. Yeah. I need to learn the ranks better. I'll give you 1 minute. Community session. Community session. This is where the members in the community can get up and say something. Going once. I thought you had a question for Ms. Cunningham. So are you okay, so this is the point where if you have something that you want to say to the community, you say it. If you have a question for somebody who didn't present yet, you wait till they have the question. So you have an issue that you want to bring forward, or you have a question for Ms. Cunningham?
No. I have an issue that I want to bring forward.
You have
in regards to sanitation with the small business people. I don't know if this is the right time.
Please state your name for the record. It's fine, sir. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Terrence LaPierre. I'm a business owner and I'm the president of Avenue D on East Flatbush.
Go ahead, sir.
It has been brought up my attention and the small business people that sanitation has created a unit that is going around o'clock in the morning, 2 to 2:30, and giving tickets to business people and homeowners that are in their bed. I have a copy of the summons here, and we are at home, and we are getting tickets of summonses at home, where we have to clean in front of our businesses. All of our people are very upset. We are the small business people. We are the lifeblood, and we are having a hard time. We had a hard time with COVID, and now the city is coming after us. I don't know if they need money or what, but we are suffering.
Okay. So did you guys, so Ms. Cunningham, do you want to respond to that?
But as a general note, any has the legal right to contest. The office of
Can't hear her.
Mr.
More than one summonses. But why should I be home?
But Mr. Pierre, remember, you can't, it's not a debate. You made a statement, we got it. She was follow up, and if there any other complaint, please make sure that you let me know, let my office know, let the district manager know. But we can't, remember, we can't do the debate. I will add to what Mr. Pierre is saying. He's not the first business owner who was brought to my attention that they're getting ticketed unfairly. And it's very difficult, no matter what anybody tells you, to go fight a ticket. It's extremely difficult to be exonerated from a ticket once given by the city. So it's a very difficult situation to tell a person to go, you have a recourse in fighting the ticket. You could come up with 50 million pieces of evidence and they still find you guilty. And I've seen it happen publicly and privately. I've seen it. So business owners are saying that people are dumping in front of their property. They have it on camera. People are moving the trash down. The wind is blowing and they're getting tickets, and they're not winning those charges. So he's not the only one.
Yes, all I'm saying is at the time, 2 a.m. in the morning when you are sleeping.
And yes, so she said she will look at it and we're going to hold you to your word. All right, it is a public conversation. Any other community? Yes, ma'am. Please make sure, everyone, please speak slowly and clearly and state your name.
Vanessa Quashi.
We didn't hear you.
Vanessa Quashi.
Vanessa Quashi, got it.
Good evening, Ms. Cunningham. Because East Flatbush is known for an abundance of avenues, which is a larger span to cover than regular streets, and it also has a heavy population of commuter traffic that consists of cars, buses, motorbikes, and a ton of foot traffic. I think the community deserves to understand the mechanics of how Garage 17 functions and serves District 45 as a whole and its challenges. In my personal observations, I do not believe the allocated resources coincides with the ever-growing human capacity Garage 17 has to support in our District 45. Sorry. I would like for you to do a presentation at the April General Community Board meeting that explains in detail the operation of Garage 17 that supports District 45. In the presentation, I would like for our community to understand the following: the actual physical locations of Garage 17 and 18, because I believe they share the same address. The reason Garage 17 is considered Brooklyn North within the DSNY's infrastructure the actual number of mechanical sweepers that are budgeted for District 45 versus the number of sweepers that are allocated for the district. The actual distance the mechanical sweepers cover in District 45 and the number of passings they perform. A diagram that illustrates the routes for the district by street location, the times they leave the garage in the mornings, and their timeframes by truck number. I'd like to know the expected timeframe it takes them to complete their routes. A statistical breakdown for the last year from January 2022 to 2023 that covers only District 45. For example, equipment breakdowns, manpower shortage, missed street cleanings.
10 seconds.
And 311 tickets. How many streets did the mechanical sweepers actually miss? And
All
so
right.
I gave you I gave a breakdown of what I have in this report before we met this evening. So this is why.
Thank you, Ms. Quashie, but I think when you say 45, I think you meant Community Board 17, because 45 is Councilmember Lewis, and it covers a lot more. All right. You would probably want a copy of that to look at.
Got one person online. You first.
1 minute. No, 1 minute. Come on up. Come on up, right up.
Yeah, I don't know.
State the name for the record and everything else. No, come on up. Come on up right here.
Mr. Dale, where's the other mic?
My name is Bubemi Okotiero from DSNY. Just very quickly, we got a copy of the information earlier on. So we're going to do our best to see what we can legally share. As you can understand, some of this stuff are management tools that I believe might not be really something we can actually talk about publicly because the issue of safety as well for our, for our employees. But on a larger scale, to your question, I think let's give us some time to study it a bit more, and we're going to get back to you with specifics. What we can share, we will share. What we cannot share, we'll tell you why we can share it. Nothing to hide here. Okay.
All right, appreciate that. All right, community session.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. State your name for the record.
My name is Agnes Roberts.
Your name is?
Agnes Roberts.
Agnes Roberts.
Yes.
Welcome, Ms. Roberts.
Thank you. And I live on East 43rd Street, which is between Clarkson and Lenox. Now, the double line on Clarkson Avenue, Clarkson Road, divides Board 9 from Board 17. Now, we were told that Kingsborough project is going to be a huge project that will affect our neighborhood across the street. No one told us about this. He's not listening. No one told us about this. And how do you expect us now to accept this as it will affect our neighborhood? And just a half a block away, half a street away, and nothing was told to us to prepare ourselves for this. We were told that this project is going to start next year. What are we going to do about securing our property with the influx of other people coming to the neighborhood? That's already there. Now, what kind of humanity does this community or these people have for the elderly people living in the community who has been there over 50 years? And no one tells us about it. This big project that's going up on Kingsborough Psychiatric, this land was given to by a man who owned the land for a certain quality people. And now you're going to build business, you're going to build supermarkets, you're going to build everything. That is going to affect our neighborhood. What is you all doing about this?
All right, so my answer to that question real fast, and I know it has come up in numerous conversations. The Kingsborough project, which is a state project, right, is one will affect the residents of Community Board 17. However, the problem lies in that, well, the problem lies in two places. Place number one, it's in Community Board 9, not, hold on, let me finish. And therefore, in Community Board 9, it is whatever fight it is that they're going to do that we're going to support. Community Board 17, unfortunately, even though it strongly affects us, we can be supportive of whatever it is that you want us to be supportive of, right? However, we cannot, I don't know how to, if I'm explaining it properly, how would I explain it? Like, if you're in 45, you don't have jurisdiction in 44, even though you're right next to each other. 44, Ms. Agnes, give me a minute. 44 has to be the initiator and ask for support from the surrounding communities. At this present moment, Community Board 9 has not asked for any support from Community Board 17. But it's not in our jurisdiction. That's the problem. So I don't know if I'm hoping I'm explaining it properly. But unfortunately, but I could tell you there's a person, Jay Sword, who has brought this to our attention at our board recently. However, again, it became an issue of Board 9. Whatever it is that we can do to offer support, that's what we can do. However, to initiate an action, all right, to initiate an action is not within our jurisdiction. Hopefully I'm answering, that's about the right way I'm answering it, right? I don't want to make sure. Yes, Ms. Welch. Well, okay, so wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna do the debate. Wait, hold on. Listen to what I'm saying. Community Board 17 will be affected by it, and I'm clear. However, the actual edifice is in 9, which creates a problem because that's one issue. The second one is that it's a state project, which means that the state has jurisdiction, right? So we can use a bully pulpit. You want to do a press conference, I'd be more than likely to come out and support. But in terms of another action, it's within Community Board 9. And I've spoken to them regarding that issue. All right, we need to move on. I could speak to you further, Ms. Agnes, after the meeting. All right, but I don't want to hold up our time, right? Any other, I see a hand. I see 2 hands. So Mr. Frey, I don't know if you know who's first or who's second. Yes.
Mr. Sorted.
Mr. Sorted.
Jay Sorted.
Thank you. I'll let the.
Wait. Point of order. Unfortunately, if he expresses interest within the community, I have to give him. No, that's not what it says. It says you have to have significant interest. No, Miss Chair James, in order to be a committee member of any committee, it is a resident primarily, a business owner, someone who has significant interest within the community. That is what it says, right? So he does have his 2 minutes. Wait, council member, are you leaving? No, okay, because I want to make sure that you speak, so make sure you stop me. Mr. Sword, you have 2 minutes. I'm sorry, 1 minute.
Okay, I think is there somebody else from the community whose hand is raised or who would like to speak? I would let them speak first.
Yes, there's a race for New York. Race for,
Whoever's from the community, I'll wait until after they're done.
no, race for, what is that, excellence?
Race for Excellence. My name is George Hutchinson.
Go ahead, Mr. Hutchinson, you got the floor.
1 minute, so I'll try to keep it short. I have a nonprofit organization called Race for Excellence Incorporated. We run a mentoring program for middle school age children, as well as an after school program. We were given a grant by Senator Kevin Parker to offer our program for free. I repeat, for free to 3 middle schools in his district. I am also going to need to hire personnel to run the program. My website is race4excellence.org. I also put the website in the chat, and I can be reached through email through that website. And lastly, we are having a race day where adults can do the same thing that children do in the program, where they're going to be painting the bodies and racing 10-scale remote control cars. If anyone is interested, please go to my website. All the information is there, as well as how to reach me. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to coming back to the next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. Please make sure to connect with our Youth and Education Chair, as well as our Personnel Chair as well. Right?
Its email address, please.
Mr. Hutchinson, can you repeat your email?
The email address is the letter GEEHUT. That's GHutch, the number 3 @gmail.com. The website is race, RACE, the number 4, excellence, EXCELLENCE.org. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. All right, that ends our community session. All right, that ends our community session. The community session ended. I have what? I'm sorry. Mr. Sword, my timekeeper is going to shoot me with a missile. So you have 30 seconds. So whatever you need to say it in 30 seconds.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm a former member of the Community Board 17 Land Use Committee. I volunteered for 1.5 years in 2015 to 2016. I was also on the Housing Committee for Community Board 17. I volunteered. I am a member of the East Flatbush.
30 seconds, Mr. Sword.
This goes to the standing, because there was question as to why I'm speaking. There's members of the Jewish community who are in Community Board 17. I have a strong interest in that. And that's my significant interest. On Kingsborough, if anybody wants to know about Kingsborough, I put my number over there. And what's going to happen is there's oversaturation of homeless development all along Clarkson. And it's going to result in the displacement of members of the Black community and the Caribbean community. They're taking away parking, which is very valuable. And there's a disproportionate amount of homeless that are being put there, like around the 50% level. And they're not telling people. They're keeping the community in the dark, and there's members of this community board who are shutting me down because they want to keep their own community in the dark, and I have plenty of evidence.
Councilmember Lewis.
Okay, and if anybody wants to contact me, there's my cell number. The most recent development that came to Community Board 17 is actually in Community Board 9, because they don't want to come to Community Board 9 and tell them. It's 233.
Time. Please just give your contact. Your contact, Mr. Sword. Oh, his contact. You write it in. Well, go ahead, Mr. Sword. You got the floor. Your contact.
So my contact is in the chat. I put the cell number there, and my basis is just that there's individuals who are in Community Board 17 who I advocate for.
Just your contact.
And it's there.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna start. We're supposed to roll call, but I'm breaking protocol a little bit. I know the council member has to go and she wanted to respond a little bit to the rezoning conversation as well. So I'm breaking protocol, to allow her to speak. You have 5 minutes, 60 seconds. That's beautiful. That's why I love you. That's why you're my council member.
Good evening, everyone. I don't want to take up too much time because I already see eyes rolling. Very happy to be here, and I heard the borough president speak earlier. We've had a couple of conversations, I would say in the last 2 weeks, and I know that he spoke to the chair. I think Ms. James had a conversation with him, and we had a little bit of a fight, but we understand one another when it comes to zoning. So I did want to share that while we're not on the same page about zoning and development, I don't agree with most of the stuff that he had to say about it. He did agree to supporting phase 1 of our rezoning process. And I know that the additional conversations is a fight that the council members in those districts would have to have with that, with our borough president. So just for the record, again, for the 100th time, I do support contextual zoning and a down zoning in the phase 1 of what we're presenting to DCP, and stand with the community board on anything else that you all decide to do, and hope that we all could support the letter that the chair and Ms. James have put together for us to present to DCP. I was able to have a hearing with DCP last week, which you could see online, where I questioned them about CB 17 and supporting our rezoning process. They are readily prepared to support us, but we have to get the ball rolling, as the borough president shared earlier and the public advocate shared at our last meeting last month. So I'm hoping that the board can vote and support to rezone CB 17, particularly phase 1 of the process, which encompasses the areas that you've all shared before. I won't get too much into it. I really wanted to address a mass shooting that happened over the weekend. We're having a shooting response on Friday. I'm hoping the public safety chair, if that person's here, could share that information. And we are in full support of the neighborhood. I did reach out to the inspector to see if we could do wellness checks on the block and continue to support those neighbors. And we will continue to be vigilant in that area as we try to take down some of the establishments that are in operation in that building and surrounding buildings in that area. And I know that DSNY is here. Teresa, I want to thank you for all the support that you've provided to the community and to Council District 45. I know you work really hard, so don't get mad if you get beat up tonight. Let's just get the work done, and we're going to keep working together to get this work done. And I want to thank our new Assistant Commissioner for being here, and I know that we'll support efforts. I think 30 seconds, you got it. Mr. Terry LaPierre was here earlier, so let's add that to the list of complaints because I heard that earlier. They gave me 30 seconds. That is all I have for this evening. Have a blessed night and see you all next month. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Going back to agents report, NYPD, Captain Antonio.
Great, guys. Thank you so much. I'll keep this quick. I'll just hit a couple main topics, and then if you guys have any questions, I'd be glad to take them. Let me introduce myself first. I'm new to the 6-7 precinct as a captain. I've worked there in the past at other ranks, so I'm very familiar with this neighborhood. But I'm only a month in the 6-7 precinct. I already see some familiar faces actually of other community meetings that I've been in or I've attended. As far as introducing myself. So I won't kind of repeat myself from those meetings. I just will hit on a couple of big topics. I know we just had one that she brought up regarding a shooting that happened on East 45th Street. It was on Saturday afternoon. This is a building, it's a residential building, but they do operate illegally in the basement. We have had some run-ins in the past with this particular basement. They have, illegal alcohol sale, illegal gambling. Anytime, there's stuff that's being done underhanded. It always comes with problems, and unfortunately it comes with violence, especially amongst young people. And this is exactly what happened last Saturday afternoon. Unfortunately, one person lost their life and 3 others were wounded with gunfire. So it's a very serious, it's, pretty much the most serious thing we're going to take in the police department. So yeah, we're already looking to not only obviously shut it down, but we're routine patrol over there. But that area right now there's actually a cop car there. That block is shut down. So as far as that goes, that's violence. Now to go like more quality of life. One thing we're seeing a lot of is car break-ins. Not so much car break-ins, but people leaving their keys in the ignition. I've explained this before, and it's only gotten worse since I mentioned this last month. Please, I know it's not you guys, and I try to say this with everything. There's maybe 40, 50 people in this room here that live in the community, but there's about 40,000 people that live in the community. The police department kind of depends on you guys to really, notify the other members of the community who don't come to the meetings. They probably don't follow the NYPD Twitter page, which I understand. We do our best to try to get our message out, but you guys being here, please tell your neighbors, tell your elderly parents who don't log in, or, maybe kids that are away at school, they come home, the keys in the ignition or keys in, even if you're going in for a minute, just to, I'm just going to grab a coffee, whatever the case is, they come out, the car's gone. It's a big problem. And it's happening in this neighborhood very high, at a very alarming rate. And I think that's it. I mean, I don't want to, keep this going. Yes, getting back to violence, there was a shooting today too. Unfortunately, it was on Avenue A and Remsen Avenue. There's a restaurant there on the corner. It sounds silly, but they were over a dispute over who was online first, and one male went to his car, got a gun, and obviously shot the other person. He's okay. He's in the hospital, but these things happen. So just, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that did happen this afternoon, just maybe a couple hours ago. Actually, I came straight from that scene. Any questions not regarding shootings, just in general?
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
May I, Chair? Okay. I have 2 comments and 1 question. It is my observation since September, the committee board has started. We have not seen the inspector at a in-person meeting. We've seen him on 2 virtual meetings, and we do hold our elected official accountable. We think we should hold our inspector accountable. We would like to see him present. I know he usually sends a representative, but we would like to see him. Secondly, first, my name is June Passau, Chair of the Commerce Committee. 2 invitations were sent to him to attend the April 2nd breakfast. We have not received a response from him. I don't know. I think it's kind of rude that we haven't got a response. My third one is a question. I'm not going to go into details because of time. There was an incident on the 23rd of February at Lotus Lounge, execution of a search warrant, which led to some really bad behavior to the owner and proprietors of Island Sea. So my question to you is, can you explain can you execute a search warrant? Just explain a little bit to us, because a search warrant should not be going from one establishment to the next establishment. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yes. Okay, so yes, I'll talk about Inspector Saliba first. So the 6-7 precinct, just like any NYPD precinct, 6-7 is a very, very large precinct as far as the population it covers and geographically too. So that particular precinct has what they call 3 executives. Inspector Saliba is the CO, he's number 1, and then is me and Captain Morales are his backup, so to speak, as XOs. I will certainly relay the message to him, but when he's not here, it's because he's very busy. I promise you, he's not blowing you guys off. From the NYPD angle, executive is an executive, but I will definitely relay that to him. And I also will make sure he confirms for April 2nd. So I have it written down here. As far as Lotus Lounge goes, the NYPD did obtain a legal search warrant. It was for a firearm. I can't really get into specifics, but we had we had pretty much concrete evidence that there would be a firearm in that establishment. The problem with Lotus Lounge is you walk in, there's I guess a club or social club, however you want to call it. It's not very big, but then there's a huge kind of entranceway into a large garage, right? And then in that large garage, there's other hallways and entryways and doorways that, we thought maybe be private rooms. So put it this way, bottom line is this perpetrator could have been hiding this gun or multiple guns or drugs, whatever it was, anywhere. So when we went and executed that search warrant, we specifically had, we were allowed to search, Lotus Lounge and any parts connected to Lotus Lounge. Now, obviously, it wouldn't attach, we didn't intend on going into another premise or another business, like we unfortunately happened there. We didn't realize that door went there. And I believe it was all taken care of afterwards, right? We didn't, but bottom line is that Lotus Lounge, there was an arrest made over there, and we actually had Department of Buildings come a week later and did a vacate order, and they won't be operating the way they have been in the past.
They were open for business the said Saturday.
I know, I'm sorry.
Said Saturday,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Just on behalf of my public safety chair, just to remind that every fourth Wednesday of the month, we expect to see community affairs at a public safety meeting. And I'm tired of my chair complaining that there's no one there. So just send an officer over so she's happy. See? I got you. All right. So, what was I saying? All right. So, roll call is next. If you're online, please don't respond, if only in person. Quickly. Roll call. Oh, come, just bring it up here. Go ahead.
Okay, in the interest of time, I'm only going to call the people that I don't know or hear. If I don't call your name, I gotta call everybody, seriously, the Lord. I mean, if I know they're here and I already marked them present.
Point of order, for record, you still have to call everyone's name.
Okay,
Yes, you have to call
fine.
their names. Yes.
Kwame Afre,
Present.
Aaron Ampao. Aaron Ampao. Berlard Antoine. Joan Alexander Bakradine. Hassan Bakradine. Barrington Barrett. Barrington Barrett. Mary Bell Downs. Mary Bell Downs. Teresa Brereton. Oh, we now have quorum. Hermina Brown. Hermina Brown. Karen Charles DeFreitas. Karen Charles DeFreitas. Asher Cunningham. Diphy Cerillion. Diphy Cerillion. Roderick Daly.
Oh, present.
Natasha Duncan.
He's here.
Okay. All right. Natalie Ferguson. Pearline Fields.
Yeah.
Allison French Kenton. Allison French Kenton. Dr. Charles Galbraith. Okay. Rachel Goodfriend. Rachel Goodfriend. Rose Graham. Gail Grandison. Julia James. Hillary Joseph. Hillary Joseph. Rhonda Joseph. Rhonda Joseph. Osney Lewis. Montserrat Oni. Rodney Pepe Souvenir. Rodney Pepe Souvenir. June Prasad. Dion Kwamina. Dion Kwamina.
Patricia Reddock. Patricia Reddock. Janice Reed. Janice Reed. Dr. Carol Renault. Dr. Carol Renault. Antoinette Smart. George Tate.
I'm home with COVID and don't want to be
Okay.
here infecting everyone.
Tamara Thomas is present. Marguerite Viglianti. Jessica Welch. Kenrick Westcott. Kenrick Westcott. Okay. So he's absent.
All right, Madam Secretary, while you tally up to see if we have quorum. I know, but you're gonna tell. All right, we'll adoption of minutes. There is no minutes. So now we go to the public hearing section. We will start with our Commerce Chair. We'll start with the Commerce Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening again. Are there any applicants or representative for liquor license applications? Please step forward. Yeah, you see one? Okay. I had one excuse, so. What are you? Oh, that's the one that you were not there.
Right there.
Okay, happy that you're here, ma'am. However, sorry? Speak with her, yeah. We received, no, I can do it, I think so. We have received your application, or I think you're representing the owner, am I correct? However, you're one of the owner, okay. There's an issue with your 30-day notice, the third one actually. There was no type of license that was circled. And unfortunately, we cannot vote on something that was not stated. Community board cannot write on the 30-day notice. Did you come to the Commerce meeting? But we didn't have one this month due to the fact that the Commerce meet next week, the way it falls this month, before the general board. I apologize, but unfortunately, we cannot vote on your application tonight. We request that you come to next month Commerce meeting, but you may have to resubmit the 30-day notice. Nambe, you have to submit, that's not corrected. You have to submit another 30-day notice and make sure that everything, it will be your fourth one. I don't know what to say, but unfortunately, we can only do the right thing. I apologize, ma'am.
Okay.
You have a question? Go ahead.
So the comments, pretty much, with, as far as the community board, I'm requesting more, for you guys to be a bit more open with the process, because I keep submitting this thing and no one is really communicating clearly what the issue is. And not every business has the opportunity to use a lawyer like us, so we're representing ourselves. It's just, again, it is multiple times that we're submitting this and then we're starting over the process all over again.
Okay, I have all three of your 30 days application, which is the first step that you have to do when applying for a liquor license. The first one, your Mr. Kelly came to the Commerce meeting, but he did not attend the general board meeting, which is the procedure. So we were unable to vote for that. He asked to reschedule. We did reschedule the second month, and that was in September of last year. We did reschedule the following month, which was October. He did not show up at that meeting. However, instead of him calling the community board to come to a next meeting or schedule his application, he submitted a second 30-day notice. On that 30-day notice, there was no name as the entity. We cannot approve something without a name. And I have all three of the 30-day notice with me. I told him what the issues were, and he resubmitted a third 30-day notice, which is what I have in front of me. And if you take a look at it, I'll show you right here, there's no liquor type
that's circled. We cannot vote on something that is incompleted. Am I correct, board members? Okay. Sure, ma'am. Sorry?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you state your name so that you know when with the minutes?
I'm not sure if there's anything that would prohibit her from stating right now what license she's applying for and asking to take a vote on it. Because there was no committee hearing on it. So this is being brought to the table right now. Is that correct?
Yes, no, it was stated at the executive meeting, and by the directive of the chair of the board, he stated that we will not vote on this application because there's no liquor type there. So we cannot write on these applications, Ms. James. And if it's sent to the State Liquor Authority, they will deny or disapprove this application because there's no liquor type that's attached. How can we vote on something that we don't know what they need?
I wasn't
we
suggesting the
submitted it-
board do it. It's within her purview right now.
I can't hear you.
I wasn't suggesting that the board do it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but she can state today what license she's applying for, right? And I don't see why we can't proceed with this.
Especially the fact that we submitted it before, and the first time there wasn't an issue. Of course, like I said, Mr. Kelly is.
Can
one
you
of the
speak in the mic?
Well, Mr. Kelly is one of the chefs at the restaurant, so he wasn't available, and then I didn't know that I was also able to represent, being that my name wasn't on the initial application. So that is what caused the delay, but it's just been a constant delay in process to me with the community board, with the lack of communication. Because honestly, you guys could have told me this prior to me coming here. You guys
Okay.
emailed me, so you didn't, we could have fixed that before I got here.
Okay.
So quickly. I did go through line by line on the 30-day notice with Mr. Kelly, letting him know what needed to be corrected, line by line. And I have committee members here who can attest to that. The committee decided that he needed to resubmit another 30-day notice. It was just not my decision. I will now turn this over to the chair of the board.
Okay, so I decided that we as a board cannot vote on an incomplete application. The application has to be completed when it is submitted to the board. It is unfortunate, right, that it's your fourth time. However, I cannot subject the board members to vote on something that is incomplete. So I made a decision that if you need assistance with filling it out, the Commerce Chair or the district manager can assist you with filling it out, and then it will be addressed at our next meeting.
But again,
So,
just
wait,
this-
I'm sorry. I apologize. It's not debatable. That's your public hearing?
I don't know if anyone
Are
else.
there any other liquor license applicants?
Do you just want to call the name for, just to make sure?
Okay, and we'll call the name for the record.
Brooklyn Jazz and Sports Club, Inc., are you present?
I'm sorry. Question?
Thank you. My name is Montserrat Oni. I'm just trying to clarify the issue that just happened. What is the negative of her circling the liquor, the appropriate thing, and us voting on it right now?
Were you listening, ma'am? Would you like me to go over everything again?
I was absolutely listening. I'm saying if she finishes the application right now, which is a circle.
Maybe if you take the mask off, I can hear you clearly.
If she finishes the application right now, which is just
What's the
circling-
issue?
Yeah, what's the negative? Like, what is the
So-
detriment to the community board for us voting if she just finishes the application as she's here?
So at the executive board meeting, I observed that the type of license was not indicated. It was brought to the executive member and the chair, who overrules my decision. I'm just the Commerce Chair. He's the Chair of the Board. And other executive members, I think, stated that we cannot vote on something that we do not know. So really, it's an incomplete 30-day notice. A 30-day notice is the first step in applying for a liquor license. That's the process that comes before the committee
I
board.
heard all of that and I get it. What
Okay.
I'm saying is if the application is incomplete at 7 p.m., but it's complete at 8 p.m. and we're all here now and she completes it, what is the negative? And I will finish
No.
that by saying that for me,
unf-
can I finish? Thank you. As a community board member, it's actually kind of painful to see this woman trying to start a business and we're not helping her, we're actually harming her. And to put another 30-day delay on her trying to finish, like just trying to get something to get her business and to get funds into her pocket is actually very painful for me. And I hear that you're saying the executive chair made a decision. What I'm asking is why that decision was made and what harm does it cause the community board to let this woman use her pen, finish the application, and us to take a vote because we're sitting here?
Well, technically, this 30-day notice has to be submitted by overnight mail. We cannot take a hand-delivered 30-day notice. That's request. It is, ma'am, unfortunately. We cannot write on these 30-day notice. I'm not going to prolong this conversation. The decision was made, and I will now, I'm going to call the other applicants just to make sure that they're not present. The chair of the board made the decision, yes.
That she couldn't do it.
That's not correct.
You said so.
I'm sorry, hold on. I'm sorry. I apologize. I, as a chair of the board, made the decision that the application is incomplete. Right? Now. Okay? That was the decision that was made. I understand the issue that is in front of us. But the fact is, the law is the law, right? In terms of how the application needs to be presented, and it wasn't done properly. So I understand, I do feel her pain. It's not like I don't, but I also have to look at the legal component of what was done.
And that's correct, Mr. Chair. Well, the point on the table, the discussion on the table right now was if she were to.
No.
1 second,
The
please.
answer is no.
And that's your decision. It's not necessarily the board's decision. That's your
Okay, so,
decision.
all right. It's now 9:15. We've spent 15 minutes on this conversation, right? I have already made a ruling. You have the right to overrule my ruling, right? So it is, you have the right. So if you want to make a motion to overrule my ruling, you can go ahead and do so. It must be, a motion must be made, second, and voted on. However, please note that legally, it's a legal issue. So although our emotions might say, let's go against what is legal, before you make the motion, know that it's not a legal matter.
Mr. Chair, I'm not going to make.
Again, Madam, Ms. James, we cannot go back and forth. If you're going to make the motion, make it. If not, let's move on.
And I will not make the motion. However, I firmly disagree that they're not in position.
Okay, so it's non-debatable, Ms. James. So either you're going to make a motion or you're not. That's not a motion. I make a motion too. Of the chair. It needs to be second. Okay, it's second. It's duly motioned and second. Yes. All in favor?
You got to open up for discussion.
Huh?
You have to open up for discussion first. Point of order.
Yes. I'm sorry. It's up for debate. Yes, Ms. Oni, Member Oni.
Who am I going to? Sorry.
Member Oni.
Sorry.
Thank you. I guess my.
No,
point
wait, I'm
for-
sorry. That, you're correct. You're correct. You cannot be the first person to debate the motion.
Anybody else?
You made the motion. Does anybody want to debate in favor of the motion?
I just have a question as far as the process of the application. Can Ms. Prasad, just for the audience, give us the
No,
exact,
don't walk and talk. Stay
give us
still.
the exact, I was walking towards her. Give us the exact process of the application.
So the
from
exact
beginning to end.
process of the application is that the applicant needs to submit a completed 30-day notice to the board, sent to the board by mail, is presented to the committee, right? By certified mail, correct, right? By certified mail, completed, certified mail to the board. It's then given to the chair of the commerce, who then presents it to her commerce committee. In the event that there is no, the board meeting happens before the commerce committee, which happens this month and last month, then it comes directly to the board for voting. That's the process. So in this case, if it were to, sorry. So on the legal component, it was not certified mail and it was incomplete. I mean, it's incomplete. So in order for it to be done, what Member Oni is doing is to circumvent certified mail and stuff. Member Welch.
What he's saying is.
Okay, so what I'm really, basically, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to explain it to you in plain English. What was done, the legal versus the illegal. Legal is she needs to have a completed application, certified mail to the board office. Illegally, circumvent the process.
Legally, right?
That's, I don't know, I can't explain any better.
Ms. Welch, at the second Commerce Committee meeting, I went through line by line of the application stating what needed to be corrected. That still was not done. What else more would you like me to do? No, we do not indicate the process.
I'm sorry, Miss, I apologize. Wait 1 second. No, you cannot, only board members in this section. In this section, only board members. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the process comes from the state. Okay? Is a state regulation.
The executive board.
So I don't know what is it that we're actually, it's not like nobody up here feels the issue. It's not haphazard, do what you want, when you want, how you want. It's a state mandate. Okay, so again, there's a debate on the floor. So the debate is, if you're in favor, please stand, make your motion, make your statement in favor of. If you oppose, you stand, you make your statement in opposition of. Member Bakardine.
I'm trying to get.
Wait, I'm sorry. Excuse me? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, you stood up or you're on the phone. I didn't know you wanted to speak.
That's how we're trying to move the business along.
Wait, wait.
I was trying to.
Only members can debate.
I'm gonna try to get it.
Unfortunately, those are because the only one can vote.
Not a board member, ma'am.
Ma'am, I understand. It's
your application, because I'm gonna try to get.
Yes. Ms. Chair James. No, I'm not going back and forth. She's allowed to stay if she wants to stay. Thank you. Member Bakradine?
Submitting, I have to adhere to the rule. We make to have to adhere to. Otherwise, we can be held liable.
Okay.
May I speak?
Yes.
Okay, I want to be clear. I did not make a motion in order to do something illegal. The initial understanding that we had when my question was, what is the negative to the board if we vote today if she finishes the application? And the answer was the board chair made a decision. If the issue standing between the license being voted on is a decision, then I move to overrule it because we can all as a body make that choice. If the issue is that the application is illegal and is not valid, then we can't overrule it, and that's fine. But that was not clear because initially what we kept hearing was I made the choice not to accept it. I made the choice. If you would just made the choice, then other people can choose to overrule.
Okay, but Miss Montserrat, that I make sure I pronounce that right? I was very clear in terms of why the decision was made. Okay, not a problem. So you're the make of the motion. Are you rescinding the motion or are you continuing with the motion?
Is it illegal for us to vote on this application today if she
Did not follow the rules of how a 30-day notice is supposed to be submitted with a completed application.
Rules and laws are not the same thing. Is it illegal for us to vote on this license? Yes or no? Please just say yes or no.
The law, the rule, the guideline, or any other noun that we want to use clearly states that it needs to be a certified mail with a completed application. Okay? I didn't hear you. Yes. Yes, Mr. Lewis.
One of the biggest issues that we have is that, again, the quorum and all these different things. Now, if the young lady is willing, not
Wait,
that.
I'm going to rule you out of order. If you're out of order unless you wait. You're out of order unless you have to vote. You rise in favor of the motion or you're against the motion. You can't. There's no other debate.
All right, so I'm against the motion for the reason being, according to you, the legal aspect. But I am saying to us, as an
I gotta stop. No, Mr. Lewis, like everybody else, you rise in opposition to the motion. You state why, and that's it. Why are you against the motion? If you rise in opposition, to state that, but you can't debate another topic. All right. So with that being said, call the question. Thank you. The motion has been called. Is this call all things in front of the house or calling the motion? You're calling the motion, closing the motion. All right, all in favor of closing debate, please say aye. Only board members. All in favor of closing debate, please raise your hand. Board members only. Okay, all opposed to closing debate. Okay, debate has been called and closed. All in favor of overruling the chair, that's the motion on the floor, please do so by raising your hand. All opposed to overruling the chair, please raise your hand. Okay, the motion fails. Next public hearing. That's my paper. Yeah, that's mine. We have the TLC cap. TLC cap. Okay. We have Chair James, the letter of support for DCP. You got to do from up here.
I commend our city council persons who are trying to assist the board in dealing with this rezoning issue, which is critical. And so we have been asked to co-sign the letter of support to DCP to rezone CB 17. I would like to bring to the table a resolution that the board agrees to support the letter, which was emailed to every board member. So I call the resolution.
Please note that it's a resolution and it does not need to be second. Is there any debate? Is there any debate? Yes. The mic, yes.
I just wanted to be clear on the letter. Is it, because we want to discuss rezoning, we don't want to necessarily definitely rezone, right? It's still at that point.
Initially, the letter had called for DCP to undertake a rezoning study. And the point was made by me and supported by the chair that DCP has done sufficient work. So the letter now states that they accept what is there, plus allow us to update the information and move forward with a rezoning.
Okay, but the rezoning
Contextual.
could be amended.
Pardon me?
The rezoning could be amended, the plan that we presented. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, it's going to involve some discussion, and I'm being realistic. As the borough president said tonight, it would be very difficult. I supported as best as I could the existing proposed zoning text amendment. How successful will be very challenging. First of all, I want to say very publicly tonight, I stand on someone's shoulders here. I want to recognize Allison. What's her last name? What's Allison's last name? Allison, for the tremendous work that she has done. And I think this board owes her a debt of gratitude for the amount of work that she's put in. And we wouldn't be here tonight at this point, at this stage, had it not been for Allison and her team, I think including Rachel, who did sufficient work. What I'm saying right now is we want to engage DCP. They have been disengaged. And the letter of support is that the city council persons are going to join the board in bringing DCP to the table. That's what it really means.
All right. It's okay. So it's a joint conversation between us and city council to get DCP to have a conversation with us. With that, that was a point. That was a point of clarity. Is there any debate? See none. I feel the need to call the question. Okay. All in favor of calling the question, please say aye. All opposed? Okay, very simply, by show of hands, all in favor of support of advancing with the letter to DCP, please do so by show of hands. All opposed? Motion carries. Letter of support, election of treasurer. We still have not had a treasurer. We do have quorum today. I had appointed back in December, David Leon as the treasurer of the board. IA, interim acting. So that's obviously 3 months, and we have not had quorum. We did have quorum last month, but there was something else on the agenda. Tonight, we do have quorum. So I'm asking if there are any nominations from the floor. I see a perplexed look on your face, Member Bakardine. She's not here. Right, she's not here, but it's still on the agenda and we do have quorum. So I will take nominations from the floor for treasurer. I'm not sure, is that a point of order, point of question, or a nomination? Nomination. Okay, so you have the floor. Who would you like to nominate? Mr. Ozen Lewis? Okay, Mr. Ozen Lewis has been nominated as treasurer. The person cannot be online, so nobody online can vote. Sorry. Is there a second to the motion, to the nomination? Gail Grandis to second it. Mr. Lewis, you have been duly nominated and second to be treasurer. Do you accept the nomination as treasurer? All right, now, technically, we're supposed to have the paper ballot. Let me see if it was prepared. Who's that? There is only one nomination. So, Madam Secretary's not here, so that would be me, right? So I'm gonna have to cast. Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Are there any other nominations for treasurer? It has been called thrice. There are no nominations. We have one nominee, Mr. Ozen Lewis. And I, Roger Daly, Chair of the Board, cast one vote for him to be treasurer. Welcome aboard. All right. Rezoning text amendment resolution. While she's walking up, guys, it's 9:35. We would like to leave here in 10 minutes. 9:40, 10 minutes. All right. We have a couple presenters and a couple unit process, so we have to get that done.
CB 17 commenced the process of rezoning or 1961 current rezoning back in 2007. The resolution simply calls for another affirmative vote to move forward with rezoning. That's it. The resolution was emailed to you, so I'm sure you had an opportunity to read it. So we're asking for the board's support for us to be able to move forward and engage DCP. The prior vote was for signing the letter of support with the city council persons. This is the board now saying, to DCP, we want you to address rezoning our community. Questions?
Okay. It is a resolution, not a motion, so it does not need to be seconded. With that being said, it was passed, I believe the resolution was passed by the executive board. And so is there anyone who rise in support of the resolution? Is there anyone who rise in opposition to the resolution? Seeing none, I sense a motion to call the question. All in favor of calling questions, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. By show of hands, all in favor of the zoning text amendment resolution. By show of hands. And again, please remember, only board members can vote. All opposed, to the zoning text amendment resolution? Please do so by raising your hand. Any abstention? The motion carries. The resolution carries unanimously. Euler, you're up. What? What are we talking about, Chair, Member Welch? He accepted, the whole process is over, Ms. Welch. Once he accepts, that means he's running.
3 minutes. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're going to review the ULURP application, DCP 22 DCP 73K, which is for the special permit on 5381 Kings Highway. Team representing that from Clarendon Holdings is Mr. Gerwitz? Yes. Mr. Gerwitz, floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ellie Gewirtz from Davidoff, Hutcher, and Citron, representing the applicant Clarendon Holdings, Inc., who is pursuing a special permit to facilitate construction of a self-storage facility at 5381 Kings Highway in East Flatbush, Brooklyn.
I don't know, I just.
So here's a rendering of what this proposed special self-storage facility would look like. Again, we are on Kings Highway at the intersection with Foster Avenue in East Flatbush, Community Board 17, and Farrah Lewis's district. So this is a ULURP action for a special permit pursuant to a zoning section 74-932. The reason why a special permit is necessary here because this site is found in an area in the zoning resolution as referred to as sub-area 2, where self-storage facilities are required to get a special permit in order to be built. This is a manufacturing district, an M11 zoning district. This is a district where this is also referred to as an industrial business zone. This is an area where the city wants to keep these areas for manufacturing uses. The bulk of the building that we're proposing is a 5-story building containing 73,715 square feet of floor area. That bulk would be permitted as of right in the M11 zoning district. What we are asking for from your board is to permit the self-storage facility use. Again, just to orient ourselves, we are in the Fairfield Flatland Industrial Business Zone. The site is bordered by Whitty Lane to the north and the Long Island Railroad Bay Ridge Division right-of-way to our immediate south.
Keep going. Keep going.
So just again to see the map that we're located in this sub-area 2, which is why we're required to pursue this special permit. This is our zoning lot looking from above. As you see, it's an irregularly shaped lot with only 30 feet of frontage along Kings Highway and approximately 19 feet of frontage along East 56th Street. Because of this irregular shape, this site has never been developed with a manufacturing building. It's been tennis courts, it's been a school bus depot, it's been a parking lot, and it's also been used for automobile sales. This is looking at our tax lot. You could see the Whitty Lane homes to our immediate north. This is our zoning map showing that we are in an M11 district. This is a land use map showing the land uses around our site. And highlighted in purple are the other manufacturing uses, and in yellow are the residential uses to the north. Just some brief photos of our site. This is looking at the gate or the frontage along Kings Highway at the intersection with Foster Avenue. Again, just from a wider view. This is looking at the site across the street. We have the B7 bus stops right in front of the site. This is looking at the back of the site, looking north along East 56th Street, and you could see the intersection with Whitty Lane. This is looking at this East 56th Street looking south. It's a dead end. This is a closer look at East 56th Street, and you could see the interior of our site to the right. This is a proposed rendering of what the building would look like. Again, it would be 5 stories with a cellar containing approximately 73,715 square feet, which would comprise 800 to 850 storage units. Just looking at our plans, we'd have a new opening gate here along Kings Highway with 2 lanes, one for exiting, one for entrance. There would be a 30-foot wide lane here to enter. This is a look at the building from afar, how it would look from the street along Kings Highway. This is our site plan. I just want to highlight that there's a 34-foot wide driveway between our proposed building and the adjacent lot line to the immediate north. And then if you could see the footprints of the buildings to the immediate north, all of those homes are providing 30-foot rear yards. So we have approximately 64 feet of distance between our proposed development, highlighted in blue, and the homes to the north. We'd also be providing 12 parking spaces around the perimeter of the site and 6 loading berths for small trucks and moving vehicles to service the self-storage facility. This is our section, which shows that our building height is completely compliant within the M11 district. Again, we are here only because we need a special permit to permit the self-storage use. And then just looking at our elevations as well. Thank you so much for your time, and we have our project team here that can answer any of your questions.
In the order of questions, I ask if anybody in the auditorium has questions, if they would line up over here. Understand that the House rules are limiting your responses to 1 minute per question.
Yes, try to, even if you can go shorter, we'd appreciate that.
I'll come to you, 1 second. Okay.
Member Welch, you're recognized.
So we're not planning to use any street parking for the site. The only access to the site would be from Kings Highway, and we're providing 12 parking spaces within our lot. So we are not expecting anybody to be using street parking to access the site.
Thank you.
Chair Frey.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, 100%. And we actually have Alyssa Quill, who is the president of Storage Asset Management. She's on Zoom, and they would be the operator of the storage facility. And Alyssa, if you're there, if you could please respond to that question.
Could you repeat it?
The question was asking about the demand for self-storage in this area, whether we conducted any studies that proved that there was a demand for self-storage here.
Yeah, as a third-party self-storage operator, we managed about 550 self-storage properties. We did a demand study for the 1 mile ring around this property, as well as a 3 mile ring around this property, and found that there is an undersupply within 1 mile of about 230,000 square feet of rentable storage space. And if you expand it 3 miles, it's over 2 million square feet undersupplied, which is driving the rent rates up in the market.
Excellent.
I just want to remind everyone real fast. It's a public hearing. We have to be cognizant of time. Secondly, anybody can speak, but only board members can vote. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that. And we have 5 more minutes of debate. So if you want to be heard, make sure that you keep your comments short and response shorter.
2 minutes.
So this is what I can do to give you 2 minutes. If anybody else speaks for you, then you can have 2 minutes if somebody defers their time to you. Whichever one you want.
I'll defer.
Hazel Martinez, good evening. We had extensive meetings with this group, and I don't hear any of that being told to the board members here. There's an issue of the water table where they plan, it's 12 feet down, they plan to drill 10 feet down. So when the building settles, and they break that water table, what is going to happen to the homes? They'll be flooded out. And the area is already very congested with DHL, Mitsubishi Motors. It is just a mess there. They're right where they will be. There are trucks there blocking the side road of Kings Highway every day. You have to then come in from the main road to get into the service lane. So and it's a very small area, but the area is now very congested, and it just looks terrible. And I think the last thing we need is a storage unit, because the people in the neighborhood are not they're not craving a storage unit. They don't need storage.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Would you
If I may, I'll take the 30 seconds. That issue about the water table, we took very seriously, and we provided the board with a certification from a hydrologist. And we also have a geotech report that certifies that the construction of this building with its basement above the water table will not threaten any diversion of the water table to the homes on Woody Lane, which we know was a concern.
With all due respect, it's quite clear that you can pay to get, we just had Alex Murdoch's trial. One paid witness said, one paid expert.
Can you state your name because we record, state your name for the recording.
Okay, yes. My name is Margaret Hemmings. In the Alex Murdoch murder trial, one witness said, he couldn't shoot from that angle. And another expert said, he could shoot from that angle. So everybody can bring in their witness. The bottom line is that it creates an issue that, you cannot foresee, and it's going to be out of control. You're a big corporation. We're little homeowners. We're little homeowners there. There's a storage facility on Foster Avenue just a block away, a mega storage facility. Many have spoken in here about outsiders coming in and taking away robbing the integrity of a Black neighborhood. Okay? And in many cases, you couldn't do anything. You were paralyzed. We can rise. We can rise up against rich corporations who is trying to take us, who is trying. You can go out and get an expert. Everybody can go out and buy an expert. You're going to march into our community. Are we going to let them march into our community and demand what's theirs when they toss the green around? We're going to stand up and toss the Black around and show them that we are not chumps, that we have integrity, that we have value. And we stand together.
Can I ask a question?
Just so the board knows, because we said this at the Land Use Committee meeting, and I need to say it tonight. We take the concerns of the Whitty Lane homeowners and the adjacent Kings Highway homeowners seriously. And in fact, although the board is voting tonight, we've scheduled a community meeting for the Whitty Lane homeowners, and we distributed invitations to their homes by personal delivery today for the 21st. For the 21st of this month, and we intend there to be a continuing dialogue so we can hear the concerns, and as this project would move forward, God willing, that we will work with them to allay the fears and do whatever we can to ensure that those concerns are addressed. Thank you.
Great. I have to apologize, right? We have to be respectful of each other. Wait, right? So we both, one, I keep saying it over and over again. Please do not blame me for us being here a long time. Second of all, stay within a minute, respect each other in conversation. We don't have to agree, but we have to respect. There's a difference. Because I respect you doesn't mean I agree with you. I think, Ms. Bianchi, you've been patiently waiting.
So my question is, well, first a comment. Most of the M11 buildings are 1 and 2 stories. The majority are 1 and 2 stories. So my question is, why does it need to be 5 stories, and why do you need a basement?
So the way M11 districts work is that they are governed by, and I think we have the architect here that can explain that, they're governed by what's called a sky exposure plane, which is.
That's not the question.
So I'm just explaining, so in our situation, because of the irregularity of the site, we were able to push the building back, and we were not hitting that sky exposure plane. So because of that, this is not your typical M11 site, and we were able to build the building a little bit taller. We needed the 5 stories in order for storage asset management, as they felt that this was what they needed in order to operate the facility.
The basement? Because most storage facilities that I know of don't have basements, per se.
So Alyssa, would you like to address why we need the basement? Yeah.
The footprint that can build on is small because the shape of the land is a triangle. So to make it an economically feasible property to build and operate, you needed a certain number of storage square feet.
But the basement is what's going to cause the problem with the water table, so that's an issue.
What happens if the board follows the recommendation of the committee? What happens? Still going to be the question.
If this application is turned down, so there won't be a storage facility, what you'll get is a manufacturing building that will be the exact same size as the building that's proposed, and even could be a little larger. So the building itself, as Ellie tried to point out, is as of right physically. It's the use that needs the special permit. And, the reality is, this property isn't within the manufacturing district. The city in its wisdom laid out M11 light manufacturing districts adjacent to residential districts. That's what we see across the city. We will do everything and anything we can to work with the adjoining residential neighbors. For example, we're installing a soundproofed fencing across the perimeter of the site to mitigate noise impacts. Usually you don't see soundproof fencing along the perimeter. You just see fencing that would block the visual intrusion. So we're doing everything and anything we can. But the reality is this is a manufacturing site. This building could be built, and if it's not a self-storage use, you can get, in fact, more noxious residential uses. The other thing that could happen here is you may remember that this site had a school bus depot with hundreds of buses running on and off daily. That's another option. So there's a lot that could be done. I have to say, we've tried to make this development the least impactful, and we will continue to work with the community during construction to try to assure against construction impacts. But there will be a building built here that will be no different than this self-storage building.
So can I just say one more thing? So there's no debate about the height, right?
Thank you, Chair Daley. My name is Ryan Cagle. I'm with the Business Outreach Center Network. We represent manufacturing and industrial businesses across East and Central Brooklyn. We are members of the Industrial Jobs Coalition, a coalition of 11 different organizations focused on industrial jobs, all representing industrial business zones across the city. We and many of my partner organizations encourage the community board strongly to vote no on this application for self-storage special permit. This is a very large topic that I have a lot more to say than 1 minute will allow. But I think my main points are that this land is protected land for industrial manufacturing. Industrial manufacturing jobs are accessible to people without college degrees and are increasingly in demand and increasingly highly skilled and specialized jobs. Industrial buildings are almost exclusively low-slung, one-story buildings with no cellar, not even close to what this 85-foot clock tower shadowing the lawns will become. It is absolutely false that an industrial building is going to build a building like that. This land, voting yes for this application sends a message that we don't value jobs and community, and instead value the profits of these developers. Thank you.
What you got to do?
Is there any comments that wasn't stated, board member, non-board member, that we can move on with a vote? Okay, that being said, Mr. Chair, what is the recommendation of the committee?
The recommendation of the Land Use Committee was to vote against this particular application and the associated construction. We weren't for it.
And what was the vote at the committee?
The vote at the committee vote was 0 yeses, 12 nos, and 3 abstentions.
Thank you. Do you vote concurrence with the committee?
Yes, my vote is reflective of the committee's vote.
Seeing that the vote has been placed and the chair has voted concurrence with the committee, it is now on the floor for the ULURP application for self-storage at 5381, did I get the address right? 5381 Kings Highway. At this point, we'll move forward with, seeing that there are no more debate, we'll move forward with calling the question on this issue. All in favor of calling the issue, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Okay. All in favor of following the recommendation of the Land Use Committee, which is non-concurrence. So the Land Use said no. So if you're in favor of the Land Use Committee, please say aye. All opposed to the recommendation of the Land Use Committee, please say, I did that backwards. Please raise your hand, not out loud. Raise your hand if you're in concurrence with the Land Use Committee, not say aye. Okay, all opposed to the recommendation of the Land Use Committee, which is non-concurrence, please raise your hand. All abstain. the motion, the recommendation to not give a letter of support for the storage carries.
Thank you guys for coming.
All right.
Sorry for the late time.
We have presentation, Ms. Cunningham. I wouldn't be able to convince you to come back next month, right? No?
Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Team being thorough and giving us the information to do whatever.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be super brief. I did put handouts in the back. I think a lot of people already grabbed them, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that beginning April 1st, there's going to be changes to the set out rules for your refuse and recycling for both residential properties as well as commercial properties. So in quick summary, the change is going to be if you have containerized garbage, meaning that it's in a container in a garbage bin, 55 gallons or smaller with a lid, you can put it out after 6 p.m. Again, the current time is 4 p.m., which is the earliest of any major city. That is going to be transitioning to 6 p.m. if you put it in a garbage container with a lid. If you would like to keep it in a black bag or your recyclables in a clear bag, you have to put it out after 8 p.m. Again, 6 p.m., 8 p.m. for residents, homeowners and residential properties. For business owners, it is 1 hour before closing if it's in a container. Again, in a bin, you can put it out 1 hour before closing. If not, if it's going to be in bags, it must be out after 8 p.m. as well. Again, there's more information on the flyers in the back. If anyone didn't receive it, please let me know.
I apologize. That's it. I apologize. Nobody leave. Nobody leave. Sorry. I apologize. I just realized that it's a ULIP application. And being that it's a ULIP application, I can't do I was trying to get us out of here quicker. I apologize. But I have to do it by roll call. So I unfortunately have no choice. I know we want to go, but I have no choice. Sorry. Kwame? No. Aaron is not here. You're voting yes. Yes to the committee report. Antoine? Remember, you vote, whatever you voted before, when you raise your hand yes, that's what you're doing now. Let's just make it quick. If you didn't vote no, don't raise your hand no. Chair Bakardine? Member Bakardine. Yeah, you. Hubby? No. Barrington Barrett, Maribel Downs, Teresa Barretton. You're voting with the recommendation of committee, which is non-concurrence. So you're saying, I don't want it. Yes means I don't want it. Armenia Brown is not here. Karen Asha? He's not here. Roderick is a yes. Natasha Duncan? Natalie? Perline? Allison? Dr. Charles? Rose? Gail? Julia? Hillary? Rhonda? Osni? Oni? Rodney's not here. June? Dion? Patricia? Janice? Dr. Carol Renault? Antoinette Smart? George Tate, Tamara Thomas, Margaret,
Yes, sir.
Jessica. All right, that's it. All right, legislative report, quickly. Dan, you're up first.
Good evening, this is Daniel Heredia from Councilmember Farrah Lewis's office. I don't have much to say other than Councilmember Lewis supports the board's decision to reject the application for the self-storage project at 5381 Kings Highway. And if this continues, we have been meeting with the borough president on this matter. It seems like we are aligned. If this continues to the council member will vote down at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up, just come on up. State your name and who you represent, real fast. State name and who you represent.
Good evening. I'm Portia Edwards from State Senator Zone Numeri's office. I'm the district director. Just a couple announcements. We have affordable housing services available in our office from CUF every Wednesday from 12 to 6. We have free at-home rapid tests and New York State Senate Youth Leadership Recognition Award Program is on our website. It honors outstanding students who will become our future leaders. The application is on the New York State Senate website. The deadline is March 24th. So we're trying to get as many of our students within our community in the 20th Senate District and within all of our community boards involved. So if you guys have any questions about that or you know any youth leaders, please reach out to our office. We would like to acknowledge those students. Yeah, I got my email. Good night.
Dalton Robinson, Malik Chandler Waterman's office. Two quick pieces of information. We will have the member will be having a press conference on Friday, this Friday at 11 o'clock at the corner of Church and East 45th Street to respond and bring some attention to the mass shooting that we have in East Flatbush last Saturday. So that press conference will be taking place at 11 a.m. the corner of East 45th Street and Church Avenue. And then on Saturday the 18th, she will continue with her community engagement with the Vital Voice meeting that she has. This one will take place at Winthrop, the Sesame Beacon program at Winthrop School, Winthrop campus, and it's from 2 to 4 p.m. So you can just come out and engage the member and some of the issues that you like her to address in the community. Thank you.
Good evening, all. Lisa Derrick from Assemblymember Rodney Spichat Herman's office. Two quick statements. We have a handout in the back. It seems like it's been pulled away, but this is for the upcoming Women of Distinction Awards ceremony. It's going to be on Sunday, March 26th at Brooklyn College, the new building, Buckwall Theater. Also, if you missed by chance the State of the District, which happened on 28th of February, it is on the Assembly Members' YouTube, so feel free to visit and take a look. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, I see any member online? Anyone representing an office online? Go ahead, Mr. McDonald. Who's that, Mr. McDaniels? Malcolm,
good evening.
That's you, right?
Good evening. Yeah, can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear
Hello.
you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is Malcolm McDaniel. I'm Director of Constituent Services here at the Mayor's Office, the Community Affairs Unit. If anybody has any issues of lack of service from any city agency or needs some resources, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will definitely look into it. My direct phone number, I put it in the chat already, is 212-626-3033, or you can reach me at my office cell, which is 347-669-6683. And of course, my email is mcdaniel@cityhall.nyc.gov. Just to be brief, you can follow the mayor on his YouTube page, which is at NYC Mayor's Office, and on his Twitter, NYC Mayor. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McDaniel, when you get a chance, I would like to speak to you. Maybe tomorrow you can reach out. Okay?
Of course, of course.
Any other elected official or designee online? I don't see none. Let me just check. Please note tomorrow, the 6-7 precinct will be meeting for their monthly meeting at the 6-7 2820 Snyder Avenue, 2820 Snyder Avenue. I heard some mumbling online. Going once, going twice, gone. Old business? New business? 1.30 seconds.
In 2023, New York State's alcoholic law was changed to permit the 30-day notice to be sent by email. I would just like to encourage the board to take steps next month to vote on it, to permit the 30-day notice to be sent by email and not just by certified mail. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's a conversation we could have at the executive board level. All right, any other comment? Thank you. The time is now 10:15. All right, motion to adjourn. Rose Graham, motion to adjourn, second. Asher Cunningham seconds the motion to adjourn. Oh, all in favor of adjournment? Please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we stand adjourned.
The guys with heavy security at the
Good night, everyone online. Thank you for joining us.
dogs that they had
Good night, everyone.
previewing and setting up the different rooms, and then to hear that kind of emotional
Yes.
testimony.
No, it's not. Hold on. Huh?
Ms. Freeman, Ms. Moss, all of these women had their lives upended by this, and it shouldn't have happened that way. And so that's a deep emotion, no doubt, that Rangers felt in the room, and then coupled with everything about the security required to protect the integrity